Oh, honorable judges, how are you today? Feeling good? Are you ready to judge all the finalists today? Finally, we are uh, on the last day of MAPRES for uh, English presentation. And good morning to for all the finalists. How are you today? Fine? Nervous? Good. Okay, I hope all of you are in a good condition. Before we start, I will explain the rules for today. Just the same like the Bahasa Indonesia presentation. All the finalists will have 15 minutes for the presentation and 30 minutes for the question and answer. Is it clear? Okay. Okay. Now let's welcome our first contestant today, Suci Alicia Tam. Are you ready, Suci?
Yes.
Give applause first. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start the presentation. Thank you.
All right, so may I start? Okay. Imagine a world where style meets sustainability, where every piece of thread tells a story of renewal and responsibility. As we sit in this room, surrounded by everyday items, let's consider for a moment the clothing that each one of us is wearing. Perhaps it is something new that you have just recently bought, or perhaps it might be something gifted to you. My outfit personally was gifted to me by my mother. Each piece of clothing that we are wearing is a chapter of ongoing saga in its own story, bearing the memories of its wearer. But just as every story has its ending, there is there is a lifetime of clothes that outlive their time. Although every piece of clothing that we are wearing might have a sentimental value to us, I'm sure there are also clothes tucked away in your drawer that we haven't worn for years, or perhaps that you throw away. This culture of throwing away clothes is the fundamental basis of the fast fashion waste problem. Honorable judges and esteemed colleagues, today we will dive into the transformative power of fashion recycling, where old clothes become new and our choices reshape not only the wardrobes of the very fabric, but also our planet's future. My name is Sui Alisha Tam, and I am one of the students I'm one of the students at the University of Indonesia, Faculty of Law, and today I will be presenting about my research on fast fashion recycling, on the strategies to overcome fast fashion waste, contaminating the Citarum River through self-regulation practices, student bazaar initiatives, and the eco mode application. Honorable judges and esteemed colleagues, today I stand here not just as one of the finalists of the most outstanding student selection at the Faculty of Law, University of Indonesia, but also someone who has a genuine concern and genuine care about the environment. I myself am a business owner of my own clothing line, Plata Vera Studios, where we have been established since May of 2022. As of right now, our sales have reached 3,000 plus orders today, and seeing my close relationship with the fashion industry, I have firsthand witnessed all the atrocities and all the detrimental consequences of the fast fashion production, which have caused great harm to the environment. And that is why today I would like to propose solutions in regards to fast fashion waste because of my close knit relationship towards the industry. That being said, I will be focusing on three main agenda. Firstly is addressing the status quo. Secondly is the problem identification. And thirdly, will be proposing my solutions. As of right now, I will be addressing the status quo. Right now, fast fashion aims to 33 million tons of textile is actually being produced in Indonesia each year, and a large majority of the said production will end up as waste. Fast fashion is actually a phenomena where the production of clothes happen at a rapid production rate using low quality materials and is also sold for a way cheaper price. The effects of fast fashion is overconsumption, pollution, and also the shortage of water. If we see this picture here, the data from the Diplomat and the Asian Development Bank states that this is the world's most polluted river. And if there are any guesses where this is, it is actually in Indonesia because it's the Citarum River. Those affected by fast fashion production is the environment and also the local communities around the Citarum River who are affected by the source of water of the Citarum River. With that, I would like to bring up the problem identification. With fast fashion production, there are two main problems that affects the environment and the people around. Firstly, the first main problem is the production that releases toxic waste to the river. Right now, textile producers release toxic waste in massive amounts to the Chitarum River. Financially, for them, it is definitely more convenient for these factories to just dump their waste to the water instead of having proper waste management and instead of treating the waste right. The second main problem is the fabric disposal, where when producing clothes, there are a lot of samples, rejects, and also cuts of fabric that is thrown away. The disposal of this fabric becomes a challenge as Indonesia is not well equipped with many fabric recycling facilities. The problem lies with the enactment of the environmental law enforcement. Based on my research with my supervising lecturer, which is Prof. Amri, and based on multiple journals in Indonesia, we have concluded that Indonesia actually still needs improvement on their environmental law enforcement in regards to the licensing requirement. Because the reasoning why every producer still dumps their waste to the water is because of the licensing that they have received, even with their practices. Right now, 25 million, more than 25 million people rely on the Citarum River for their daily needs, where the local communities depend on the Citarum River for washing, cleaning, and other daily activities. Seeing that this is a major problem, I have made three main solutions to tackle this issue. My three main solutions are in the form of a pyramid where we can see that as we go down, as we go even more down, there is a higher impact in the initiative that I have proposed. So the first solution will be the enactment of self-regulation principles. The second would be the execution of community bazaar initiatives. And third will be through the application or the implementation of the eco mode application for fast fashion recycling. All right, so first I will be talking about my primary solution, which is self-regulation. This acts as the fundamental basis of all my other solutions. My first solution is the enactment of self-regulation. What exactly is self-regulation? Self-regulation is basically I, as a business owner, impose contracts or codes of conduct or standards to a certain company in order for us to have a mutual commercial contract that address environmental issues within textile production. Right now, there are still multiple companies, especially in the Chitarum River, who don't care about the fast fashion problems. But with my end as a consumer and also as someone who buys the fabric in my business, I would like to impose certain rules before I come into business with someone through this contract. The clauses contained within this contract include the prohibition of using pollutants such as coal. Secondly, to ensure that the waste disposal is also in accordance with the Indonesian law, which is law number 32 of 2009. Perhaps the question that pops up in your head is, what exactly is the advantage for the businesses who would like to enact self-regulation principles? Well, the advantage for the business is that if they enact uh, clauses within the contract that comply with environmental regulations, not only do they help the environment, but they are also able to receive eco-friendly certifications from Green Label Indonesia. The benefit for them if they receive this certification is that their sales increase because they could claim themselves as eco-friendly products. Right now, we can actually see that 52% of Indonesian fast fashion consumers are aware of the effects of environmentally friendly clothing and are willing to pay more than other options. Seeing that eco-friendly products are adding up as fast fashion consumers are more aware of it, we see that adding this certification would definitely help the businesses, not only the businesses within their sales, but also with their with the help of as them helping the community around the Chitarong River. So that first solution impacts myself, my business, and also the business that I'm coming into terms with to business with. The second initiative is the secondary solution, which is the Student Bazaar Initiative. Previously, uh, I have thought of the idea to create a second-hand clothing bazaar in the University of Indonesia, in the university scale, not just the faculty scale. And this is in collaboration with two big organizations, which is BEM-UI and also HIPMI PT-UI, to stop the cycle of fast fashion and to educate us university students and change the consumption behavior. I've previously been in talks with the chairman of BEM-UI and also the chairman of HIPMI PT-UI, and they are absolutely down for this idea. And we believe that through this, we can actually enact a bazaar which allows students from all across UI to sell their products, to earn profit from their money, from the clothes that they sell, but also have benefits towards the consumers because they can purchase things for a way cheaper price. And through that, this reduces the fast fashion waste that is just thrown away. My last solution is my tertiary solution, which is the which is the application of Eco Mode. Eco Mode is an application that I personally will be making if this to enact this solution. And Eco Mode has two main features. The first feature is to have e-commerce for used clothing. So we could see in the screenshots here that the clothings will be categorized based on the clothes that they based on the fabrics or also the brands. And this way, consumers can browse through fast fashion brands for a way cheaper price and also help the environment. The second feature that I will be presenting is the recycling fashion waste feature. So as of right now, I believe that the issue is the awareness within recycling used clothing. Not a lot of people are aware that the clothes that we want to throw away actually could be recycled and transformed from old clothes to new clothes. But with this application, I would like to propose methods to recycle used clothing and clothes. How is this done? Well, first, users can download the EcoMode application if they would like to transform or recycle a piece of clothing. Second, through the EcoMode application, they can find the Plastic Pay drop-off. Plastic Pay is an organization that I have also been in collaboration with. As we can see here, I have been in touch with the head of PR. They are an organization that recycles plastic bottles and collects plastic bottle waste all around Indonesia. Right now, Plastic Pay has over 1,000 drop boxes in all of Indonesia. And if we acknowledge and if we're in collaboration with them, we can have their drop boxes. So everyone who would like to throw their clothing, they could go to one of the Plastic Pay drop boxes and put their clothing. Users who put their clothing in the Plastic Pay drop box will receive a financial incentive, and that is what's beneficial for them. After Plastic Pay has collected all the used clothes and fabric, they will transfer it to Daur, which is another company, a recycling company in Indonesia. I have previously Zoomed with the CEO of Daur Indonesia and I proposed this idea, and he is very in line with it, where we could see that the waste disposed at the Plastic Pay drop-off will be transferred to Daur as they have the recycling facilities to change the fabric and to recycle them into new fabric. And the last one is the fabric that is recycled in the Daur's factory. So the waste received by Daur Indonesia will be processed and recycled to new and environmentally new fabric. My solutions fall within the SMART analysis as they are specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic, and time-bound. My solutions correlate to SDGs 11, 12, 14, and 17, which is very goal-oriented, measurable in terms of the application's users, bazaar participants, and also the factories that are involved within this project. It is acceptable that there is a certain urgency towards the fast fashion problem. It's also realistic as I've already established collaborations that have already been initiated by myself with the organizations. And lastly, it is time bound with the 2030 SDG goal, which this specific solutions will be enacted in 2025. To close, I would like to remind that Indonesia is actually the world's fifth highest trash producer in the world, with over 65.2 tons of trash. Let's help our nation by going green and always reduce, reuse, and recycle. As we conclude, let's remember that fast fashion isn't just about recycling something, but it's about rewriting the narrative of consumption and waste. With each recycled clothing, we're weaving a tale of sustainability and creativity, one that speaks volumes about our commitment to a larger and brighter future. So let's continue to embrace the art of fast fashion recycling, knowing that every small stitch and every single piece of clothing that is recycled will contribute to a larger, more beautiful tapestry of change. Together, let's shape a world where sustainability and style walk hand in hand for a greener future. Thank you.
Give applause for Sui Alicia Tam. Okay, now we will start the question and answer session. Judges, any of you want to start first to ask? Miss Natalina, Mr. Angga, Miss Dinda, or Mr. Ali? The youngest. Okay, Miss Dinda? Oh, Ali. Okay, oh, yeah. Miss Dinda, you want to start first? Yeah.
Check. Okay, good morning, Suchi. How are you feeling right now?
I'm great. I'm excited to present my
Okay, are you nervous as well?
yeah, bit.
Okay, so my first question will be, as a law student, why did you choose cosmetic base at the first place?
So will the answers be compiled and
Or should I? You can directly answer. Okay.
so as a law student, I believe that yes, sure, it might be something that is not very in relation to law, but I believe that there is a problem within the law enforcement itself. So if I were to go back to my slide in this slide, uh, there is an environmental law problem, and the environmental law. Okay. So right now, there are environmental law regulations. You can see that there are laws such as UU PPLH that states that each waste should be altered. However, with the waste that, and the laws that have been regulated, companies are still not listening to the laws. The framework is there, the laws and regulations are there, and the licensing is there. But companies are still not listening to this law as the criminal sanctions and the administrative sanctions are still not enacted through my research with Prof. Andri. And with that, I think that there is a problem itself on fast fashion, on the laws itself. And not just that, as a law student myself, I believe that fast fashion does not just affect a certain group of body, but it affects us as well. And it's something that even as law students, it's a topic that is often overlooked. Like, for example, we often just think that fast fashion is not something we would face as a problem every day, but it's actually something that we face every day and affects our futures. So that would be two of my points. First, as a law student, um, there is a need still, even though it doesn't correlate to our everyday life as lawyers, but there is a greater impact on the environment that would eventually affect us. And second, that there are still loopholes within the enactment of certain legal regulations on the environmental laws that have been imposed by the government and in regards to the licensing requirements, which is a problem within the environmental law.
Okay, thank you for a very well answer about that. And my second question will be, one of your solutions is about the self-regulation one. All right?
Yes.
Yes. And this part. I am a bit intrigued with the imposing standards and code of conduct. So, could you please elaborate any examples of standards and code of conduct within the context of commercial contracts in this matter?
All right. So, in regards to my primary solution as the fundamental basis of the solutions that I will be presenting, there is self regulation. Self regulation imposes standards and codes of conduct. A few examples of the standards that I will be presenting are within this slide, where I would be having, what I will be agreeing with the business that we would like to prohibit the use of pollutants such as coal and to ensure that the waste disposal is in accordance with the Indonesian law. Perhaps for an example of the chapter, I have it in this. Wait, sorry. So this is an example. Sorry that it is in Indonesian. Within the contract that I have drafted with a few of my seniors who have graduated from FHUI as well, who have been working in law firms, that they've stated that I may have these clauses in collaboration with the fabric companies. So, in regards to the clauses, I would like to address that first of all, the fabric disposal has to be guaranteed that the production of the textile production company does not use materials that harm the environment. And also, the fabric facilities and the fabric factories have to also execute and discard all the waste in accordance to the Indonesian laws. So these are just a few examples of what I would like to enact. So later on in the self-regulation, I would be imposing this as one of the clauses of my contract. So before a textile production factory would like to come into collaboration with me, I would have to say that you have to follow these laws if you would like to be if you would like to come to terms to business with me. So that is basically what self-regulation is and the clauses that I.
Okay, thank you. This pretty much giving a brief picture about the example of the clause as well. However, do you think that one of the parties will be the only one who will guarantee the performance of the contract clause? And what if this clause will not be well performed? Then would it be considered as a breach of contract? And who will be responsible in that situation? And in the other hand, based on your answer to a previous question, you also mentioned that one of the main issue is that the enactment of the regulation. So, if the legal implication of the not performance of this kind of contract clauses is that also related to the regulation as well, then how how is your solution? What I mean, what is your solution, and how far your solution can tackle this kind of problem, or at least the gap between the performance of the contract clause as well as the enactment of the regulation?
All right. So in regards to the self-regulation principle, perhaps I will go back to the previous slides. Okay. So as of right now, I have a really optimistic mindset where if I come into contract with a production factory or a textile company, that they will want to impose these standards. And from that, I would like the producers themselves to be able to use the contracts that I've imposed for their other contracts. So it doesn't just set a standard for imposing a standard of a law with or a contract between me and the producer, but I would love to hope that the producers themselves also come into contract with other businesses like mine to have this solution as well, to have a standard. Perhaps the question is, why would they want to do that? Why would they want to risk everything that they have worked for just for one business to change their way of waste disposal? The answer to that is because there's an advantage for the business, because they're able to claim themselves as eco-friendly. And that is why it's not just within my contract and my business, their business, but also with multiple businesses. And the second question I would like to address is the legal implications. So as of right now, uh, I was I was I was leaning towards the idea that if a company does not follow the clauses that they have that they have agreed to in my contract, I would be I would stop the negotiations and the contracts with that company. And if so, if they still continue to dispose waste, and even though they have gone through these standards and agreed towards these implications, then I would report it to the relevant authorities to issue perhaps a sanction towards that business, not only just for the uh, in compliance with the law number 32 2009, but also the breach of contract between me and the business itself.
Okay, and then my last question will be, could you please, sorry, I'm sorry. I mean, it is just a curiosity in regards to your uh, business. Do you also apply the same standards and code of conduct in the performance of your clothing line business?
So fast fashion itself, there are multiple problems. It's not just an environmental problem or certain problems. There is also ethical problems. Basically, my business itself, we produce our own clothes now because we're trying to solve the ethical problems within fast fashion. So I myself, as a clothing line owner, I do have my own employees to be able to to stitch my own clothes, to produce my own clothes, to solve the ethical, non-ethical standards of the fast fashion problem. But also, I always dispose my garbage and waste accordingly. Right now, I actually have not yet figured out previously before this presentation. I was not aware of fast fashion recycling facilities actually. But because of this research, I would like to impose this as well. And similarly to other businesses who are actually not aware of this, I would like to advocate for fast fashion recycling so that even small businesses, and then we could go to large businesses, they are able to dispose their waste properly. So the conclusion to that is right now, I do impose standards of ethical standards and also environmental standards where I would always dispose accordingly. My business does not dispose our waste to the river, that's for sure. But after the presentation, I would impose the standards of having to recycle the fabrics that I would like to throw away.
Okay, perhaps my very last question is that, are you also wearing a recycled clothes right now?
Right now, I'm wearing
Yeah.
an outfit from my mom actually gave it. So to an extent, it is recycled because it's given to me by my mom. It's sustainable because if she didn't like it, she could have just thrown it away. But she passed it down to me, and perhaps later after this, if I'm tired of this, I can't throw it away now. I have to either recycle it to the facilities or sell it in secondhand.
Okay, thank you. That's all for me.
It's yeah.
Okay, good morning, Suji. I see that you've mastered the ideas very well. I believe you are also a practitioner. That's why it's quite clear and everything. So my orientation of questioning you is going to be evaluative and asking on what's next. Okay. In this sense, I see that your initiative is actually based on the participatory of the clothing brand itself, the producer, the fashion industry itself. However, in this sense, I see some kind of contradiction in here. I mean, fashion industry have the mindset to sell, right? They have a target to fulfill in each month, maybe in selling. But now you are participating. You are trying to participate in a sense being left from you guys. In this sense, you are trying to raise another dragons that going to compete with your business itself. So in this sense, how do you going to like tackle this kind of argument? So if the program, you already done the pilot program in Uki, but if it's going viral, it's going to be big. It's going to be competition against your clothing store itself and maybe another fashion business. So how do you tackle those arguments that sometimes in the future maybe this fashion industry does not want to support your ideas because it's actually killing themselves because yeah, people will just buy a second hand fashion and they are not buying from you guys.
Sorry, is this for basically if there are controversies towards my opinion based on other companies or other consumers?
Well, let's just answer it as your mindset as a businesswoman. In a sense, uh, your ideas currently is trying to make fashion industry participate in eco model. What you have argued. Eco- in this sense, it's actually raising the competitor of your business itself. Because when people are switching into buying secondhand clothing, it that means that your business will low in selling because going to buy secondhand clothing. What's your argument on that?
All right. So perhaps the question I would like to sum up is, doesn't secondhand clothing selling basically contradict towards fast fashion selling? Well, to answer to that, it's actually it goes hand in hand. So being an eco-friendly consumer and as a fashion consumer myself, looking at brands, there are two different types of being environmentally aware when I would like to purchase a brand. Firstly, is if the clothing line itself is eco-friendly. So there are still multiple companies that are growing and are basically increasing in sales because they're eco-friendly. And secondly, if a product is second-hand, which means that they are sustainable and basically shopping things that have been used before multiple times. So it does not cut the competition because eco as long as the brand itself is eco-friendly, it will be addressed towards eco-friendly consumers. So if we all think about it, eco-friendly consumers, they think of one thing when they're buying secondhand clothing. They want to be sustainable and they want to have great consequences to the environment. And it's not just secondhand clothing that does that, but it's also other clothing lines which has eco-friendly products. So my answer to that would be the businesses who enact eco-friendly regulations would still survive, even though because consumers, the way they perceive it is that they would either go for secondhand fashion or eco-friendly fashion if they want to buy something. Because us as consumers, it doesn't necessarily mean that every single time we want to buy something, it has to be secondhand. It doesn't work like that. Even I myself, of course, I would like to buy newer products. Perhaps when it's someone's birthday, I wouldn't just buy an outfit that's wasted or someone has worn it before. Well, it's fine. It's totally fine to buy new products as long as the business itself comply with environmental friendly regulations. And because of that, consumers can accept that. So yeah, the conclusion would be consumers would have two main preferences in purchasing: eco-friendly businesses and also secondhand clothing.
So the focus is the commitment to stay eco-friendly in business, fashion businesses. This is also raised another question in my head. You said that when you have the eco-friendly uh, the certificate that you have shown in your slides, it's going to raise the sellings of that brand itself. My question is, how big is the animal? What is it called? The uh, the spirit of Indonesian people, Indonesian market, in buying clothing have this kind of parts. I mean, it's not going to have any effect to your selling. The animal in Indonesia society is not really that high. So can give me information.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. I would like to propose a few data to back up this belief. As we can see here, 52% of Indonesian fashion consumers are very aware of the effects of environmentally friendly clothing and are willing to pay more than other options. This can be seen here in the body shop, where the body shop enacts eco-friendly principles, even as a body line or a cream line as a body care product line, they've increased sales just by being eco-friendly. And people still prefer this product over other products because of its willingness and commitment to eco-friendly. I would also like to bring up Unilever Sustainable Living brand, where in 2018, Unilever has reported that their sustainable living brands grew 89% faster than the rest of their portfolio over the previous 5 years, suggesting that there is a potential link on sustainability claims and also sales growth. And I would like to also present another piece of data where I've conducted a survey within FHUI. I conducted a survey that asks the participants if they're willing to purchase products which are sustainable and eco-friendly. And here in the first question, we could see that 76.7 participants agreed to it. And the second question I've asked to FHOE students is if if fashion is used as is fashion seen as something that is eco-friendly for the production of fashion, well, 92.3% of the participants of the survey actually concluded. So, in conclusion, I would like to propose, in conclusion, I propose three pieces of data that show that there is a close link between stating or claiming that a brand is environmentally friendly and the sales growth. Because we could see even in our community itself that FOE students do believe that there is solutions, there is an awareness towards environmental products. And we can also see in the slide that I've said that the body shop itself have concluded that that their use of environmental products have increased their sales, and also 52% of the increase of Indonesian fashion consumers aware of the effects of the environmental friendly clothing. And lastly, also the last piece of data is Unilever report for sustainable brands, where they've shown that 69% of their brands receive a faster growth and sales rate between for their sustainable living brands. So in conclusion, there is an awareness and it's increasing, especially to our generation, the generation Z, we're definitely more and more increased an awareness of these brands. And because there's a shift in consumer behavior, we as brands must be aware of it. We must have awareness and also must be able to spot on what environmentally friendly products are better for ourselves.
Uh, to be honest, I want to ask another question, but if I'm afraid maybe that's going to take some time. So I just give you more advice. I really admire your data. It's quite complete, but I believe it's better for you to look for a data in the variety of clothing waste in Indonesia. I mean, if we're going to like Europe, they are going to have maybe lots of waste in maybe winter wearing and such. It's going to contain certain materials that needs that will be coming the sources of recycling. Okay, so in Indonesia, what is the majority of clothing waste that can be recycled? Because one of the problem in recycling is actually sorting the materials, right? So the recycling program will be running if you have a certain material that adequate enough to be recycled. In this sense, maybe to complete your data even more, you can look for what kind of majority waste clothing waste in Indonesia, so you can have an idea on what kind of recycling program you will have. Okay, that's all from me. Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mbak Ibu. Hi, Suci.
Hi.
We met in the human rights law class. So my following question will be related to the class, the course. All right, ready?
Okay.
Ready or not? There is a quotation stated that human rights and the environmental are intertwined. Human rights cannot be enjoyed without a safe, clean, and healthy environment. And sustainable environment governance cannot exist without the establishment and respect for human rights. My question is, have you ever read the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change? Since you met the professor,
Okay. So
okay, you may also add a short explanation from the Paris Agreement and UN Sustainable Development Goals. Please.
okay. So Unfortunately, I haven't read the Paris Agreement, but I will be explaining on the UN Sustainable Goals, which are definitely hand in hand with my research today. Perhaps I would just like to comment on the human rights comment that you've made, where you said that human rights and the environment are very intertwined. I do see that there is a very close connection to that, as one of the basic human rights is their basic rights for water. And here we could see that 25 million citizens live around the Chicago River for their daily needs. And that right, their right for access to water is basically prohibited and there's an obstacle towards it just because these fast fashion producers are throwing their trash into the river. That right for them is being taken away from them. They don't have the uh, human rights to be able to receive clean and accessible water because of the environment. So I definitely agree that those two points are very intertwined. Second, I would like to comment on the SDGs. Um, the UN Sustainable Development Goal. Sorry. So the UN Sustainable Development Goals, where we can see that there is a correlation between Sustainable Goal 11, 12, 14, and 17, which is the Sustainable Cities and Communities, SDG 11. SDG 12 would be achieving promoting responsible consumption. SDG 14 would be to resolve and would be related to resolving and reducing fashion waste at the river, as it says that we would. The goal is to have clean waters. And finally, the SDG 17 will have an impact by making fast fashion factories collaborate with other organizations for the greater. So, in regards to the UN Sustainable Goals, we're trying to tackle four of them. The first one is basically in relation to the fact that we want sustainable communities and cities. By having these initiatives, we want them to have sustainable livelihood, sustainable households, by having access to water. And the second one is the responsible consumption. So, to what extent do we actually have responsible consumption? Because we purchase something every day. With this initiative, I would like to propose the SDG 12 because basically solves the consumption problem, the overconsumption problem of people buying clothes. Because we always buy clothes every single day, and most of them just goes to our and goes. Well, my solutions, I would like to have a better goal towards this SDG for responsible consumption. 14th SDG would be to save the water. Right now, we still see that there are so many fish dying in the Chicago River, and through this SDG, also like to solve that in regards, and also have a solution towards the access for the citizens for the water for their everyday needs. The people around the Chicago River still depend on the water for daily cooking, washing, for everything that they do in their daily lives. We want to solve that. Lastly, the SDG that is in relation is the partnership for the goals SDG 17. Because we are right now just starting our community itself through my backyard initiatives. People partner for a certain goal, for this fashion goal. And also partnerships between eco-friendly companies such as the one I previously mentioned, Plastic Frame, Daur Indonesia for the recycling facilities. Those would be partnerships that will actively enact regulations and at the end of the day solve a better future. So that would be my answer.
Okay, Suchi, and keep in your mind that probably the impact of the fashion is not only water, so the plastic and energy. And the opposite of fast fashion is slow fashion. Do you ever heard about that?
Yes.
Mhm. Explain to us about the slow fashion.
Okay. So right now there are two types of fashion. One is fast fashion, which we've seen that they've dominated the market right now. Global trends for fast fashion have affordable prices, keeping up with different trends, and always posting for producing. And however, fast fashion always raises concerns about the environment and unethical labor practices. That's fast fashion, although for us it might be appealing as consumers because it's cheaper than slow fashion products. It's bad for the environment and bad for the ethics. Second is slow fashion, where slow fashion has a slower pace in its production, where even though it is as popular as fashion, slow fashion is slowly trying to make its mark in Indonesia, especially. But slow fashion has sustainable and eco-friendly practices, where slow fashion industries use environmentally friendly materials, ethical production processes, and always minimize their waste. Slow fashion focuses more on the quality of their products and the longevity of their products, which focuses on clothing that is well made and designed to last for a longer time. Not like fast fashion, where you always want frequent replacements. And in slow fashion, they will always ensure fair wages and safe working conditions for workers throughout the supply chain. So, slow fashion, we can see that it has better uh, consequences and better uh, results in regards to the environmental impact and the labor practices. However, the con of slow fashion is that it's still more expensive. So the appeal to the larger consumer public isn't really as appealing as fast fashion. However, with my with my presentation, I do aim to have slow fashion to be more promoted in Indonesia itself and for more people to shop slow fashion.
And my following ones will be: have you ever visited Citarum River?
So for my research, I actually really was about to go to the,
To
about to, but it was not enough time. But
ah,
perhaps after this, I
yeah,
but
me too. There.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to go there to see the concerns of the people themselves, and um, also I although I haven't visited directly, I've seen multiple videos. I've watched documentaries from different news channels
Right.
to
More
have
to
the
desk research,
yes.
right? So, where is the Citarum River located?
In West Java.
Uh-huh.
It's near that's what it's basically 1.5 hours away from us. It's in
Mhm.
between right now us and Bandung, in the middle of
So
that.
it lies between cities, or maybe province, or only located all along Citarum River will be in West Java.
So the Citarum River is actually the longest river in West Java. It spans from different cities and different communities. But most of the communities that fall within the Citarum River are textile factories. But also that there is also multiple communities and villages living around the Citarum River, and they are the ones who are finding the environmental impact and the consequences and facing the environmental consequences of the Citarum River. So it
So
spans from
how you coordinate them with your idea, with your proposal, since there will be cities along the Citarum River, and do you think there is a best reward for the cities that already work support the cleanness of the Citarum River?
all right. So perhaps my solutions does not focus on cleaning it right now, because right now the Indonesian government has actually provided initiatives where since February 2018, Indonesian President Joko Widodo actually launched a 7-year plan to clean the entire river to achieve clean drinking water status. So from my end, it's pretty impossible for me to clean the whole river as myself as a student at University of Melinda. So my goal isn't to talk to them one by one and talk to the cities one by one, but to talk to the staff. My goal is not to clean up the waste that is already in the river, but it is to talk to the countries that stop polluting it. So to answer the question, to reach them, I myself would contact factories, not the citizens from the cities, because my responsibility is just stop more pollutants over the river, not cleaning it all up. Because government already initiated those initiatives.
Cleanliness, what I meant before is to minimize the toxic, let's say, the toxic things that will be going along the river. What I mean. So, how about the proper reward for the factory that already come up with your proposal idea?
So perhaps as a student myself, I cannot be giving a financial reward of perhaps $1 million, although it would be very beneficial. But for the factories that enact my principles, they would have this advantage that they can claim that they are having an eco-friendly certification. Because then, if they have this certification, they can claim that they are an ethical and environmentally friendly production company, and more and more businesses will want to buy from them, and more people will want to buy from eco-friendly products. So that would be my solution and the benefits for them as well.
All right. That's all from
Really.
me.
Sorry, judges. The time for the question. Uh, let's give applause to Suchi. Okay. Judges, I will remind you that we only have 50 minutes for the question and answer session. So, for the next contestant, maybe like we can manage the flow. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we will continue to the next contestant. We have we will have Dava. Yeah. Maybe prepare your presentation first. This is a Lisa version of Logan for lawyer. For lawyer.
Thank you.
Okay, Dava.
Setelah presentasi ulang harus
Okay, Dava, are you ready for the presentation?
yes.
Audible enough. Wait. Okay. If you are ready, you may start your presentation.
The presentation will start in 3. This morning, March 7, 2024, I woke up and I drank a glass of water. Then I went to the bedroom to perform affirmations, and afterwards, heading to the class today and presenting my idea. And then right now, I take a moment to water my mom's plant. And among these activities, there's this similarity between these activities. And that similarity can answer by one word, and it is water. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, judges and the audience. All of our activities need water. Vegetable harvest from the fields, and even the clothes the judges wear all involve considerable amount of water. And because of that, there's so many domesticity, even individuals outside there have no proper access to obtain clean water like us right now. And therefore, allow me, Dava Pratama, to present my ideas about SIRASA, Sistem Integratif Ramah Air Sektor Agrikultur, which will be a solution to address the potential water crisis in Indonesia through the role of cooperation. This idea is to achieving Sustainable Development Goals number 6, which is to ensure availability and sustainability management of water and sanitation for all, which can have broader impact for economic growth, which will be the objective of SDGs number 8. This idea was created with the guidance from Professor Dr. The honorable judges. Indonesia, strategic nation with 70% of its territory consisting of water. Because of that, there's a sense for Indonesia to face a potential water crisis. However, assumption is incorrect. According to data from Bahasa, certain regions in Indonesia, such as Sumatera Utara, Nusa Tenggara and Sulawesi, are projected to experience scarcity by 2055. Meanwhile, the proportion of areas facing a water crisis in Java and Bali will increase from 6% to 9.6% by 2025. Indonesian citizens, it's duty for us, especially as students and agents of change, to take steps by in handling this problem. It is crucial to first causes of water crisis in Indonesia. And based on my research, the main causes is in this problem uneven distribution among the sectors. According to data from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, agriculture is the sector that consumes the most clean water, accounting for 7% of the total supply in the world. And this is aligned with the situation in Indonesia, where 87% of water usage flows into the system. It means almost all of the supplies of water in Indonesia are flows into irrigation systems. And this phenomenon is mainly due to the majority of farmers still employing efficient traditional irrigation systems. And similar to supplies in the livestock sector, Fairfield University reveals that producing 1 kilogram beef requires up to 15,000 liters of the clean water. Imagine how many lives we could save if we can improve the efficiency of using water in the sector. And therefore, my research focuses on how uneven water distribution, dominated by the agricultural sectors, can impact the availability of clean water in Indonesia. And the study addresses three main problems. The first one about the status quo of the potential water crisis in Indonesia. The second one about the solution, and the third one is about the implication of the solution. The study uses two theories. The first one is the common theory, and the second one about the public trust doctrine. And this theory will explain why uneven distribution can lead to water crisis in Indonesia and why implementing rasa is essential for us. Before we delving into the solutions, let's compare the solutions with the existing program. On the screen, as you can see, we have the ISO 46001. This is an international certification program aimed to regulating water management in companies to control water usage efficiency. While ISO offers excellent benefit in terms of water efficiency and optimizations, the high certification course was a hindrance for small-scale farmers with limited income. And on the other hand, we have water footprint assessment or double by the water footprint network. This mechanism is similar mechanism with the ISO one. This mechanism evaluates sustainability, efficiency, and water allocation in the production cycle, or we call as virtual water. But the lack of this mechanism is there is no incentive for farmers to adopt WF. Therefore, an incentive program mechanism is needed. A suitable program to include in the WFA in the micro agribusiness financial institution or LKMA or Lembaga Keuangan Mikro Agribisnis Indonesia. And LKMA is initiated by the Ministry of Agriculture, provide financial aid to reduce poverty, particularly for rural farmers. However, the program has limitations such as just give financial aid to crop farmers without addressing the broader needs of the livestock farmers. So based on the urgency, a solution is needed to create a more or even water distribution from agriculture, providing incentives that can impact economic growth in Indonesia. And that solution is Sirasa, Sistem Integratif Ramah Air Sektor Agrikultur, which focus on water efficiency for farmers through water footprint assessment. But what makes this different, the program apart, is that Sirasa provides financial aid to cooperasi for farmers, and the assessment is conducted by a non-profit organization or NPO, ensuring that farmers do not spend extra costs in passing the requirement assessment. In this context, cooperation plays a vital role because it is closely connected to the farmers. As students and the agent of change, this program should start from the small scales, and that scale is our campus. The initiative can be launched through kooperasi in kooperasi Fakultas Hukum Indonesia, kooperasi mahasiswa Fakultas Hukum Indonesia or Kopma FHUI, and me as the chairperson and the members of Kopma FHUI ready to initiate this program with the other members. To kickstart the program, Kopma FHUI will collaborate with NGOs, particularly those focused on water preservation like Water Stewardship Indonesia or the Indonesia Water Stewardship Network to assess the farmers in the Sirasa program. After collaborating with NPOs, Kopma FHUI will send proposal to various student entrepreneurship or the other Kopma in the other universities to introduce the Sirasa program and potentially create a nationwide impact. And to follow up the program, all student cooperative throughout Indonesia will carry out the direct socialization and education for farmers, ensuring that they are enough aware of the Sirasa program and its benefits. As you can see on the screen, this is the scheme of program Sirasa program. The first one starts from the farmers, submissions, the assessment application to the cooperation, and after that, the cooperation will forward the assessment to the environmental NPO that has been collaborated with the cooperation, and the NPO will do the assessment to the farmers. And after the results are issued by the NPO will give back the result to the cooperation. And after that, the cooperation will distribute the financial aid to the farm. And this program also analyzed by smart analysis. As you can see, specific. There's a specific target in this program. The first one is achieving optimal water efficiency and providing benefit to small-scale entrepreneurs in the agricultural sector, and also assisting non-profit organization. And the last one is contributing to economic development. And also, this program is measurable with two indicators. The first one about the water rate efficiency and total cooperative cooperative lending. And this is also acceptable because it's aligned with our regulation right now. And about the realistic, we will start this program from FAW. Even right now, we can start the program. And the last one about the time bound can be accomplished with a short time frame. And the evaluation will be conducted in after the first years of the program. And in the conclusion, there are at least three conclusions that we can get from the research and the proposed solutions. The first one is about Indonesia as a rich nation country, rich resource nation, face the potential water crisis in 2045. Viewed through the lens of the tragedy of the commons theory, this crisis could occur due to inefficient water allocation in the agricultural sectors. This crisis in the agricultural sector, they consume up to 87% of the available clean water in Indonesia. Thus, a mechanism for efficient water usage in the sector is very crucial. The second one about the Sirasa program is a solution to the water crisis, improving water efficiency in the agricultural sectors and providing incentives such as financial aid through cooperation for farmers who undergo a water footprint assessment. The last one, implementing Sirasa can save Indonesia from the water crisis by reducing inefficient usage of water in Indonesia and in the agricultural sector, improving the welfare of farmers throughout financial aid, benefiting cooperasi and NPOs, and also helping fulfill the government's obligations based on the protective doctrine. To close this presentation, I want to say a quote from Jacques Cousteau. He said, "We forgot that water cycle and life cycle are one." That's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning.
All right. Thank you, Dafa, for your presenting your idea. Now we are moving on to the question and answer sessions. We have four judges here who would like to ask first. Sorry. Yeah, yeah.
Alex.
Yeah, good morning, Dava.
Good morning.
Yeah, it was a good presentation for me today.
Thank you.
Uh, my first question is, in isi rasa program SIM you said, a three stakeholder,
Holders, yes.
farmers, koperasi, and
NPO.
NPO. Yeah, right. So, in your paper, you mentioned that this program will mobilize the first actor who start this program is the farmers. How you will attract the farmers to join this program?
Okay, thank you for the question, Judges. I want to clarify that statement because the initiator of this program will be the Koperasi. So we'll start, even right now, we can start from the Koperasi Mahasiswa Indonesia, Kopma FHUI. And me, as the functionary of the Kopma FHUI, will start this program as soon as possible with the other members. And after that, the Koperasi, including Kopma FHUI, will send the proposal to the other universities or the other Kopma or even the other Koperasi in Indonesia to join this program. And after that, we will collaborate with the NPOs to do the assessment of the farmers in this program. Thank you.
Okay, sip. You say we change the statement.
Okay.
The first actor koperasi.
Yes, Koperasi.
Uh, my following question: why the koperasi is student koperasi? Why not like koperasi desa? Why you choose koperasi mahasiswa?
Yeah, because right now the honest question, because right now I'm part of Koperasi Mahasiswa, and these things what makes this also realistic, how we can start without intervention or without help even right now from the other stakeholders. But after that, this program doesn't mean it just restrict for the Kopma or the other things related to Kopma, but also the general Koperasi Indonesia. Also Koperasi pedesaan in rural areas.
So you will add the koperasi desa as your partner.
Of course, after we can initiate this program from Kopma, we'll also send the proposal to the other Koperasi in Indonesia to join this program.
Okay, that's enough for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Alif. Melinda.
Already hold the mic, the
Yeah.
microphone. Hi, Dava.
Hi, Ibu.
Yeah, we met again after class. Yeah. And my question is, I'm a bit confused about the using of your concept, the tragedy of the common and the public trust doctrine.
Okay.
Could you please explain it
Yeah.
while you need to tackle
Okay.
the issue in your proposal?
Thank you Ibu, for the questions. That's questions because I use two theories in my research. The first one is the tragedy of the commons, which is the basic theory of economics, which say conditions when a part use all of resources, including natural resources, and the other resources, just for themselves, until the other parties can use or can access the same resources. So it means we need to make in this research the even more even distribution of water based on this theory, because this theory describes the uneven distribution of water itself. That's the first theory. And the second one, mentioned, in this theory, I mentioned the party is the agricultural sectors. No, Ibu, I mentioned this the agricultural sectors because in the agricultural sectors, there's up to 87% of the clean water usage in that sector. And if you compare to the other sectors, it's very small if you compare to. So we need, based on this theory, we don't want the same situations as mentioned in this theory happen also in our status quo in Indonesia. I hope it And the second one, can I continue the second one? Yeah. And the second one about the public trust doctrine theory, it describes the obligations of the nations to make all of the resources accessible for their citizens, including the water resources. So I think, in my opinion, this program will help the government, will help them to make the water resources still accessible for the society and the citizens of Indonesia.
All right, then I'll continue. And how you convince your peers, your friends to join the Sirasa program schemes,
Okay.
even though it's a bit hard to convince them to join COPMA. Is it only for the member of the COPMA that could be uh, join this program, or only for COPMA member? That's my first question. And can you convince them also with the benefit while they join COPMA plus join Sirasa program schemes? And my last question is, will this proposal will be established and implemented for your graduate? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Bu Natalina, for the questions. For the first question, yeah, for the initiator, can run just through the member of COPMA FHUI, but we not restrict for the time FHUI in general join our program. To make this program easily to implement, we'll just involve the COPMA FHUI members for the first step. And after that, for the implementable or not, after I graduate or before, I'm pretty sure this can implement before I and my friends graduate from FAUI. Because tomorrow we will go into UGM, and one of the agenda is to talking about the Serasa program and make them know about this existing program.
On March 2024, Delta Pratama
Yes.
promised to us that Sirasa
Yes.
scheme
Okay.
will be established before this.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Thank you.
thank you so much, Ibu.
So we still have time for question and answer. We still have to judges 20 minutes.
Okay. Good morning, Deva.
Good morning, Mbak.
How are you feeling right now?
Pretty good, but nervous.
Okay, that's normal.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate you for making it into this point. And well, I only have one question. So, in your paper, you mentioned, you refer to the statement of the OHCHR, right?
Right. In the first paragraph.
Yeah, in your introduction part. And my question is only, do you think this statement is also in line with the Indonesian perspective towards the rights of the use of water? And if the answer to this question is affirmative, then as a law student, I would like to hear from you what is the legal basis of this situation.
Okay. Thank you, Mbak. If we see this statement is relevant in our situation in Indonesia, right now, most of us doesn't feel the same way like the statement, the contaminated water affected to people every year. I think it doesn't happen in Indonesia, but some parts in Indonesia, yeah, we are uh, they need more access to clean water. But I think if we doesn't prepare from right now, it also uh, make this happen in Indonesia. The worst thing that I can get, yeah, this could be happen in Indonesia. And I think like UPPLH and the others correlated thing try to complete the same thing to make the all of the energy sustainable, and we need to implement them all as strong as we can.
Okay, so I would like to ask a follow-up question then based on your answer. Previously, you also mentioned about PPLH, right? But before we dive further into the kind of regulation, do you think is there any root of the legal basis, especially in the perspective of Indonesian law, or why Indonesia is also responsible, or us as a society, or responsible to um, maintain the quality of the water and then make this kind of water-friendly solution for our society?
Yes.
What is the goal? What is the legal rationales behind this?
Okay, I think it would be philosophical, but we could turn it back to human rights itself.
Mhm.
Like Natalina said before, we can just enjoy our human rights if all of the environmental is important. And because we try to make the water sustainable, but, the water is made uh, that we use every day for, when cooking or something in the industry and the other things for it. And I think we can trace back the basis to the human rights. That's all from me.
Okay, so perhaps as a hint for you, I do agree with you that this is indeed related to human rights issue, right? However, my goal was that you have to keep in mind that our main legal basis of the rationales is based on our constitution, which is Article 33 of our
Yes.
paragraph 3, right?
Yes.
Okay. And perhaps it will be another follow-up question is that do you think is that any predicted obstacles in order to conduct solution through Sirasa?
I think the obstacle is how the farmers can repay the uh, financial aid that has been given by the cooperative. Because in this case, cooperative will give the financial aid more easily than the bank institutional. Maybe in the worst case, the farmers can repay the. And I think that's the most obstacle. And the other things maybe the cooperative doesn't have enough money to uh, to distribute the financial aid to the farmers because doesn't every cooperative has much of money in their financial statement.
Okay, in regarding to that, do you think you have any solution or plan to tackle the obstacles?
Look into the COPMA FOE itself. Yeah, from this for the very first time, the COPMA is the business entity in their financial statement has been closed. But after I joined for the first year, COPMA becoming a profitable business entity. We had really big income in the COPMA, and I'm pretty sure in the next year we will make a bigger profit from COPMA. That's the first thing. But if that not happen, we also open the option to the investors, like everyone, including IKN FHUI in general, can give them money, quote unquote, investing to Kopma FHUI, and Kopma FHUI will distribute it to the farmers as financial aid, and the interest will give back to the investors.
Okay, and I'm sorry, but this will be my very last question. So right now, I would like you to imagine that all of us over here is your colleagues, your fellows
Okay.
in your batch. Okay, and we would like to hear from you. How can you convince us to join, um, to be part of your solution in your proposal
Okay, the judges as the investor or NPO or
as students, as your
students,
fellows? Yeah,
as students that want to become partner in
yeah.
this program. Okay. So, good morning, friends. In this opportunities, I'll present to you about how Casa program can be a profitable company for you. Even if you don't do anything, just sit on your seat, you can make money from you, and that's still profitable. You can just put your money, and we will distribute to the farmers as partner. But in this case, farmers will also give the guarantee in the worst case, that the farmers can repay their financial aid and make the guarantee as the repayment. So I think it's really big opportunity for you guys to join the Sirasa program and could make your money profitable. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all from me.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's from Olive. We still have like 15 minutes.
Dafa,
Yes, Bang.
here's the thing. Uh, I mean, you're going to market this as an investment, right?
One of the option.
Okay. Here's the thing. I mean, so correct me if I'm wrong. I've read your both your English and Indonesian paper. Um, so the mechanism is like they're going to the farmers going to have an assessment on their business whether the business have let's just say a good water footprint and such. Okay, and then you're going to give a certain certificate, so it makes them to be able to borrow money from the cooperatives. Okay,
Correct.
um, back again, yeah, cooperative is a legal entity, yeah, basically it's a legal entity that um, have the mission. One of the mission is to gain revenues, right? To gain profit. In essence, please describe to me how this mechanism can create profits or can make the money growing.
Okay. Thank you, Bang, for the interesting questions. To make the koperasi more profitable in this scheme, the farmers will send the assessment application first, the koperasi, and koperasi will forwarding the assessment, and the NPO will undergo the assessment to the farmers. And after the results is issued by NPOs, and all of the qualification from that assessment uh, all done, the koperasi will distribute the financial aid. In this case, the farmers will repay the financial aid and plus the interest. So the koperasi will get the interest. If you look into the regulations with in koperasi ministry regulations number 8, 2023, the highest interest for koperasi is 9%. But in this program, we'll just put the interest at the 8%. It will be more interesting for the farmers to get the financial aid from this program.
Okay. Um, let's just say when we talk about borrowing money, there could be a collateral, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about collateral, one of the factors is the asset that is owned,
Yes.
possessed by the farmer. Okay. I mean, normal lending money policy will be calculating the abilities to pay,
Yes.
also the collateral. I mean, when we talk about the civil law in general, it's going to reach out to your personal property, right?
Yes.
In this sense, this is the conventional way of lending money system.
Correct.
Um, in this sense, how the assessment plays part in this particular system. I mean, the certificate will gain broader access to borrow money to the cooperative, right? Yeah, but is it as simple as that? I mean, uh, it's kind of when I think about it, it's kind of uh, giving more weight towards the farmers
Yes.
to borrow money in a sense. It's getting easier. It's
Yeah, yeah.
actually getting difficult
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
need to have the certification of water footprint.
Yeah.
So in this sense, will you elaborate more about this?
Thank you, Bang, for the questions. First and foremost, I think we need to go back to the urgency of this research. The first urgency is how the agriculture sectors is more efficient of using the water itself, the clean water. But in our status quo, there is WFA, the footprint assessment. It exists in our status quo. But the mechanism is lack of incentive. So the farmers uh, doesn't doesn't like to adopt that mechanism because there's no incentive in that mechanism. So I try to thinking how we can make the WFA its adopt broader in Indonesia for the farmers especially. So to make them more motivated to adopt the water footprint assessment, we give the incentive from the cooperation. I think the assessment position just to be, but uh, try to be make sure that they have run their business with efficient water, but as the additional, the corporation will give the incentive in the form of incentive as the uh, financial aid to the farmers. I think
Okay.
it's
So basically, this is a reward system.
reward additional, but the main focus is still how to efficient the water.
Okay, your mission is to efficient the water, and doing that by provoking motivation towards the farmers to do business in a more water
Yes.
efficiently way. Okay. Um, well, when this is a reward system, and I've read your paper, I've never heard about that in
Yeah.
your paper. So
Quote and quote word, but in the form of financial aid. Just
yes,
how also.
yes, but I kind of don't
Okay.
see the, the elucidation
Yes.
that this is actually the ways to support or to what is it, to nurture the motivation of farmers to conduct business in a more water efficiently way. Because you are focusing on more uh, on the schemes, you
Scheme.
know. And then so yeah, at first I didn't really get it what you really want to say, but yeah, this is clear. So maybe as a recommendation,
Yes.
uh, try to put the ideas first,
Okay.
okay, the main idea first, so we can understand about it. At least me, at the very beginning, I don't really get what you want to convey, but I that's check again with you in this question. Um, okay, in this sense, um, let's talk about this is my last. Let's talk about in business sense. Uh, how much is the certificate will affect the chances of the farmer getting money from the cooperative? I mean, how let's just say how many percent, and then I will also like to ask the rights and responsibilities of the NGO in assessing. I mean, if this is not controlled properly, it could raise problem, a monopolization or maybe a cartel of license to lend money from the cooperative. There will be NGO yang maybe a bit of naughty, nakal ya. They will cincai with the farmer. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Because the situation is very tense, you know. I need to really,
Thank you for the question.
the situation is very, yeah, you know, if this
Yeah, I get it.
getting uncontrolled, yeah, there will be NGOs that maybe cincai or maybe have a backdoor agreement.
Yes.
Yeah, backdoor agreement. So, in a sense, the certificate is being used in a what is it called in a not supposedly way. So, how do you tackle about that? This is my last
Okay.
question.
Thank you for the question and for the interesting terminology. And to answer that question, how much a chance of the farmers to get the financial aid? Yeah. If they have got the the certification from the NPO, it's 100%. They will get the financial aid from the cooperative. And in this scheme, the NPO, the NPO is will base on the guidance from WFN, World Food Network, that has been published by World Bank in 2011. So the water footprint assessment, that's already the guidance for it. So the NPO will just undergo the assessment based on that qualifications. If I'm not mistaken, there's gathering the data and using some applications, and yeah, they get the technical aspects about it. So I think that's the question.
Okay, in this sense, so you said it's 100%. Yeah, this is the last follow up question. 100%. Then the 100% is being decided by the NGOs, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Then is there any responsibilities of the NGOs to, in a sense, responsible to the cooperative? Because the only assessment NGO use is actually environmental assessment and not the collateral assessment. When the farmers cannot pay, that's going to be problematic. So, please answer.
Okay, so the environmental NPO will send the results of the assessment back to the cooperative. The cooperative will check it back if it clear enough or not, or that all the classification all done or not. But if you are talking about control, it depends on the cooperation, whether they will make any collateral or not. It depends on the cooperation.
So back again to the square one. So what is the power of the environmental assessment certificate when at the end of the day, cooperative will do an assessment on the collateral and the
I think, yeah, it's because if the farmers doesn't have the certification, yeah, they can get any financial aid. If this issue, if this case, in this case, if the farmers can get the certifications, they can get the financial aid a big chance, almost 100%. Depends on the collateral or not from the cooperative itself.
okay. So here's the thing, maybe Dafa. This is
Yeah.
a recommendation.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe, uh, you need a particular specific scheme on what is the reward of you having the uh, certificate of a good footprint, water footprint, yeah, system. Because when the reward is let's just say a more easier ways to get a fund, yeah, I think it's not really that simple. So maybe you could like that, like again, yeah, because there is a collateral that needs to be assessed, and that's kind of neglect the assessment itself. So in this sense, maybe you could develop more specific reward in this. The scheme is good, you know, but the reward itself, it's still questionable in a business sense.
Okay.
You know, so maybe you can get another reward. Maybe you can, I don't know, you can think about it in
Okay.
creative ways. What kind of reward that can the cooperative give to the farmer when they have the certificate, and not only in the form of easier getting a fund cooperative, because I think it's collides into more factors rather than that. Well,
Thank you so much, Bang, for the recommendation. But I forgot to tell you one thing
uh,
about the collateral.
uh,
In the first step, the farmers, when they submit the assessment application to the cooperative, in that position, the cooperative will check the collateral and the needs from the farmers. And if it's qualified, the cooperative and then will forward to the NPO. So the collateral will clear in the first step.
okay.
So that the assessment will undergo.
If the collateral profile meet, and then they are not meeting the standards in the NPO, then what would happen?
No, the NPO will not take any. They will not involve in that collateral things.
Uh-huh.
The cooperative will just see how much the farmers want the financial aid, the amount, and what's the collateral that could give. Now, that things that will compare for the cooperative, and if it's qualified, the cooperative will forward the requirement, the application to the NPO. So the NPO will not think about the collateral.
Okay, okay, collateral and apa namanya portofolionya, let's just say lulus ya.
Okay.
But however, they are not complying with the water standard. Then what would happen?
If the that thing depends on the NPO. The collateral will finish from the first step, but the environmental things, the water things, will start from this one. So it depends on the NPO if we are talking about the water
Okay, so
assessment itself.
okay. Many times we have
More.
Marsha. 30 seconds
30
ya udah kalau
seconds.
kita. Thank you
Alright.
Dava kalau kita
Thank you so much, Bangga.
And judges. So we are uh, moving on to next candidate, which is
Thank you so much. Oh, udah
give
nemu
applause
judges.
to Dava. Yeah.
No, no. No, Bang. Thank you, Bang. Ini, Bang. Good thing, Bang.
Okay, judges and all the participants, we will move to the next presentation from contestant for the Rian Armanda. Not Armada. Armada is like the sayang cinta itu buta. Okay, krik krik.
So, Bang.
Okay. All right. Okay. Just like the other contestant, you will have 15 minutes for your presentation and 30 minutes for the question and answer section. Are you ready, Rian?
But can I get photo first?
Okay, you may.
No, no.
No, you can get it. Maybe you want to prepare, okay?
Right.
Okay. Okay, if you are ready, you may start your presentation.
All right. Woe is blind to the rich, sharp to the poor. Those who have many have power. Access to justice equal access to lawyers. Lawyers defending those who face. These four phrases are the ones that often echo in our society. These phrases are a form of public criticism towards law enforcement in this beloved country. But why? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namuda, and good support you. Honorable Judge, my name is Dhea Anwar, and I'm on one of the finalists of most outstanding student selection of the of Law Indonesia 2024. Access to justice. Those two words are my short answer to my previous question before. But already go further, I will explain first regarding my question, which is crowdfunding for justice. It is a platform for nation-based crowdfunding where it means the justice seekers can raise their funds for their purpose of legal fees so they can proceed to do their legal cases with no hesitation. But before I jump into that, I'll start with the concept and the current issue right now regarding access to justice as my background why my program is access to justice is relevant to the common principles that we know that before the law. It is everyone should be treated the same before the law without any discrimination based on their gender, religion, and many things like that. And term is stipulated and protected by several legislation such as Article 18 Constitution, Article 70 Human Rights Law, and Article 14 ICCPR. And it is one of the target in SDGs, that is 16.3 SDGs. And the UNDP itself define access to justice is someone's ability to seek and obtain employment through formal legal institution through the human rights standard. It is aligned with the common concept of social justice, which the main idea is to, if we are going to achieve justice, there needs to be fair mechanism and process. And therefore, the implementation of this right is often eluded in several provisions in considered codes, such as defendant's right, for example, the right to be self-examination, legal aid, and so on. And thus, right, legal aid is one form of obtaining access to justice. Why? Because legal aid is legal services provided by lawyers and law firms. We know that litigation
court quite an expensive. Many people are reluctant because of that. You can see a report from the Supreme Court in 20. It is stated that 93% cases actually translation tends to be minor and does not require a lot of money. And this is part conditions because we know if we're going to court, there are a lot of time that we going to pay. For example, the collateral number 2 year 2024 it stated the maximum time to proceed in this court is 5 months and up to 43 months. Of course, it will intertwine with the lawyer fees. They are going higher. Not to mention that many lawyers have variety of this problem has been quite resolved with the legal aid law. That legal aid law itself, there are many criticisms itself, such as one of which is regarding the legal aid law and poor people. We can see that based on the Article 4, paragraph 1, one of the conditions is to attach or include a certification of poverty. Not to mention that classification of poor are not really regulated right now. Of course, there is quite problematic. There are several groups that we cannot neglect. They are really in need. For example, marginalized groups. For example, women and children. They are vulnerable to have various legal problems. For example, we can see on the real-time data on the Ministry of Women, Environment, and Child Protection for 1 January 2024 to March 2024, it stated that one out of over 3,000 cases, there are 2,800 cases of women, and also applies or happen to the children. Only with there are 2,000 cases filed toward children. This data shows that they are really in legal. So, and likewise with the middle class group, according to what it is a human who has spent around 1 million until 6 million rupiah per month. This group is not really paying much attention. We can see from the previous thing, it can see that they are not giving the attention and they not receive social security, social assistance, and so on. This is actually very dramatic because they are neither poor. This is a problem. We talk on the context of social and economic to mention that if we're going to look at the context, poor economically is different with poor legally. They can get legal aid because they are not, but they can also afford lawyer fees. The problems are both are quite complex, and in this short time, the legal aid law has not been changed or revised. Therefore, as an alternative solution, I propose an innovation called providing justice, with the main target being marginalized groups and middle groups. But to make it clear, it is not limited to these groups only, but also create use for everyone. The reason why I emphasize on marginalized groups, because in nations right now, these groups are the two that often affected with the legal aid programs. Honorable Judge, here's an overview of my program, crowdfunding for justice. It is a population of funding to provide an equal opportunity for everyone to raise the purpose of justice. So in this first picture, this is the main page where the donors can see ongoing information and a little bit of data. And we're going to click the red button. The second picture will contain detailed information related fundraising. This program is one of the innovation from target industry. And so the aim of this program is to optimize access to justice in the sense of providing equal opportunities for everyone to achieve to raise their funds so they can proceed the legal cases with no hesitation. This program, it is hoped that it can also be an alternative solution for current problems such as fees, long for proceedings, and so on. Of course, with programs like this, there are many several questions. For example, what will the funds be used for? So my program is not really have limitations as long as it's complied with the measures and can be accounted for. But I give some examples such as lawyer fees, security fees, medical fees, and other needs that are related to the cases. Then, of course, the problems that collect public funds have high risk. Therefore, in this program, I use accountability as a communication strategy. Accountability can be seen the how the program works and how. This program first is to create terms and conditions for all the parties, the justice seekers. So the all the points are quoted are not to be misappropriated and will be used wisely. So to see how it works, the first thing to do is just the seekers are going to sign up their activities and meet the various requirements provided by our team. And the GFG will go and investigation will verify all the documents. And I believe that to gain public trust, programs like GFG are required to be transparent. Therefore, the moment I was funded, I plan to comply with all the regulations. For example, license publication for funding, electronic system provider registration because I create a website, and a legal entity certification, which is in the form of foundation. This program also provides clear open information about how to funding works and how GFG will protect the interests of the parties, especially the owners. Of course, a program must have sustainable vision. And there are several steps that I'm going to do to make the program sustain. The first thing is I will cooperate and collaborate with law firms and companies. And of course, even though that I'm in the form of foundation, operational is really needed. So cooperate with them, collaborate with them, what is one of the solutions for that. And in return, this can be a medium for them to be a CSR program for them because in the GFG platform, there will be also an additional services in the form of the area where GFG will only act as an information intermediary. Second, communication that has a sound justice. This is an audience segmentation communication strategy, which there will be personalization within the program and service. For example, GFG for justice, the aim is to optimize access to justice. So the means that are conveyed to the public are going to have a ton of justice. For example, like I mentioned before, I often use term like justice seekers, not foundation. So this is important to embed on people's mind because it will be feels personal. And of course, the last one, it is often used in the current era, is global unification. But not only influencers, but I will choose influencers that my program value. For example, influencer with social branding. Then in terms of timeline, I have a short-term plan for 1 year, which is 3 stages. The first step is study. At this stage, I will gather human resources and to build an organization. At this stage, too, I will start to lobby and cooperate with several companies to get planning for the future cooperation. And the second step is establishment, where at this stage I will start to take all of the license, registration, certification of the language. At this stage, the website creation will also begin using the services of as developed. And the last one, development, planning, and evaluation. This is the stage where the project has been taken off. So there will be 3 months of systematic evaluation. And these 3 stages will be carried out within a year and will continue in the second year if successful. And how about that? This is an overview of how my program works. The first one is specific. Of course, my program has a specific purposes and targets. It is to optimize access towards marginalized groups and middle class groups. And second is measurable. So I have a specific periodic evaluations and have two quantitative parameters, which are engagement success to see how successful this program reaches the public, and for performance success to see how successful the fundraising is. And the third one is accessible. Of course, in order to seek public efforts to seek targets from public, I will comply with all the regulations and licenses. For realistics, of course, even though I'm in the form of foundations, there needs to be operational. I will get the funding from funder and collaboration with others. There's one time which I have a short term of 1 year with clear stages, and if successful, it will be continued on planning. And now, and the Hanover just, even though achieving justice in abstract, access or how to achieve it requires a fair mechanism. One of the solutions could be my program to help various parties in the legal field so they can proceed with no hesitation. I believe that previous explanation can be a new alternative solution to optimize access to justice. really hope that this program will run in the future and achieve its. And lastly, let's help justice seekers today. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you.
Presenting your ideas on patungan menuju keadilan stickers. We have 30 minutes to question and answer. Right. So
Yeah, thank you
you will
much,
be the
yeah,
first
much,
one.
yeah. Very excited for this. Let's talk about access to justice. Hmm. Why scary? You have your told you there.
The
Uh, you can take it now. All right. No teh manis.
boleh juga.
Why the stigma still on me until now? Yeah. Have you ever heard about the Prita Mulyasari in funding?
I think one of the cases regarding well, which I know,
Mhm.
but the funding stuff, I don't really pay attention to.
I think it will be the start, the landmark case for you, your idea. Also, I think it's one of the best example of crowdfunding, even though we never know or heard of Prita Mulyasari under Undang-Undang ITE in 2008, 2008, of the success story. From your proposal, is there any criteria beside this, the condition of the perpetrator, women or children? Is there any other criteria? Because we know that not all women need advocates. Maybe we can see from the example, the case of Putri Chandrawati or Chandra Dewi Chandrawati, and maybe the son of Ahmad Dali, that accident case. Yeah, so certain, certain criteria that will fulfill with their requirement to get crowdfunding. Yeah.
All right, thank you for the question. So we don't have any classification or standard in time because I believe that if we're going to standardize or classify more specific, I think there will be such a problem. Like maybe one of my main target is middle class group. So middle class group is really fluctuative and then they can be poor at one time and they can be rich at one time. And so the standardization in the certain conditions won't be necessary at this moment of time. But one way to verify the proofs in the later legislation for funding their funding activities is to verify all the documents when the justice seekers sign up for their funding.
Yeah. Even though you think right now that the criteria is needed at the most, but I think you need to develop a regulatory scheme that will apply to all candidates that be receive crowdfunding. And as you know, that we have the legal institution like LBH Jakarta and LBH Masyarakat. How you think your proposal idea will be have will have collaboration or coordination with other legal institutions that already exist in Indonesia?
All right, thank you for the question. So the color belt will be hard is important because one of the additional services it might fall from is information center for legal aid. So it is one-stop platform where the public can see a lot of information regarding legal aid. Either it's legal information or maybe the institution's address or something like that. So I think cooperate with them will be a good for for the future. For the
because they already have such a criteria and also regulation that will be select each uh, each person, even though they are maybe victims or offenders. So, in your proposal, it will be more to accept the submission from the offender or the victim and their families.
Thank you. So I have no limitations regarding whether it's for the offenders or the victims because I think everyone have a right to legal aid. And the reason why I bring this program is because there are some groups that are not really accommodated by legal aid. And yeah, so I don't really have a strict limitation. It should be victims only or it should be perpetrators only because everyone have a right to access to justice.
Uh, Deliver their submission. So, Ria, you already know, I think, that there are principle of access to justice. Example, equality before the law, equality before the law. No, fair trial, due process of law. For the legal aid access to justice, which principle that will be applied?
On my view, maybe legal aid is one with these three elements because, for example, if we are going to take equality before law, of course, in the real practice, to be equal to the law, we need to have legal aid, for example. And let's say fair trial. Of course, if we're going to proceed with the fair trial, of course, you have legal aid or legal assistance that quite good for the defendant.
Okay. Actually, legal aid, it will be equality before. So to get access for the equal arms, for example, it should be equality before the law with access to legal aid. That the important thing you need to know. So, yeah, since you will collect money from people, do you need also to select the donor for your money? For example, it will be related to the money laundering activities or anything related to corruption or other crimes. How do you make it more transparent, accountability, and also you are really filtering?
So I have no limitation in the selection of the donors because I believe it is aligned with the ongoing principle in Tisha, where everyone can have a solidarity with towards legal cases and maybe legal justice. So maybe regarding the manual laundering, will provide that terms and conditions in this program where we accommodate all the parties such as donor himself and also the justice person.
Because if you don't put the criteria, the regulatory aspect of your proposal, and also giving safeguarding on that, it will be a problem for you because you need to select what type of crime that could for the crowdfunding. You can start from the develop the criteria, the the regulation, so safeguarding. That's all. Thank you,
Thank
Ria.
you for the advice.
Right. Thank you, Melinda, for the questions. I'd like to ask questions now. Angga? Okay.
Okay, Rian. Selamat pagi. Uh, okay, there's lots of more philosophical and high level question from Ibu Natalina. So I be a bit more practical. Yeah. In this sense, if I'm not mistaken, in legal aid, there's a law that's saying that the free version of legal aid should be provided, isn't it? It's part of the state's responsibility. Mistaken?
Yes, Bang.
Okay. So why you are creating this patungan menuju keadilan? Is it are you implying that the free version is less good than the paid version? What do you think about?
All right, thank you Bang, for the question. So really, I don't really imply on that because one of my backgrounds for this program is actually the legal aid requirements in the on the legal aid law. So if you're going to obtain legal aid, one of the certifications is we must include a certification of property. And in practice, not to mention that many certification profit are really getting to get. They are hard to get. So I think for provide the opportunity and to expand all the groups to get fair proceedings or have legal access, have access to justice. This is one of my solutions, which is provided for programs, so they can raise the fund, so they can be proceed their legal case with no hesitation.
Okay, so basically the underlying problems is actually the administrative problem where the poverty certificate of poverty kind of letter is hard to get.
Maybe it's not really administrative only, but it also affected groups. For example, middle class groups, they are not really rich, so they cannot get or afford lawyer fees. They also cannot obtain legal aid because they are not one of the classification for. That's the main idea.
Okay, then when we talk about the market, yeah, you said that this is for people that in the middle economic level. They are not really that poor, but they are not really that rich, but they cannot have fun enough to have access to justice in this sense. So, is it how much is it to pay a lawyer? I mean, if the middle economy can afford it, is it that expensive? Have you study market research before?
All right, thank you, Bang. So, from my research, for the lawyer fee itself, it is vary. It is vary because not to mention that many lawyers have quality of fees, but maybe I I researched that per hour an hour is can be like on 1 million until 10. Yeah, and it is not maybe a public lawyers. And maybe it's not only the lawyer fees, but it can be related to the time court proceedings. Because we know that maybe the lawyer fee is not really expensive, but if the court proceeding is very long, it will be interesting. So the longer they get, the lawyer fees are getting higher.
So this patungan menuju keadilan uh, can can be applied to any level in the court proceeding. Okay. Here's the thing then. I would like to admire. I would like to appreciate your gamification. You say just the seeker and not the one that in the terminology of crowdfunding. It's very good. It's kind of embezzled, not really embezzled. That it kind of frame this application or this kind of mechanism is quite different than the other crowdfunding. But in relating to that, uh, so let's just say you will compete with Kita Bisa and so on. So what is your edge, your niche, your competitive advantage rather than using the Adakami and such?
All right, thank you. Bang. So we have a similar services like kita bisa, but the platform, my platform.
Kita Bisa, I'm sorry ada kami.
Oh, yeah.
Salah. I'm very sorry. Okay. Silakan
All right,
Ryan.
Bang.
I'm very sorry.
All right, Bang. So it's specialized because my platform itself has, for example, an additional services such as information center for legal aid. And other than that, maybe it can be used as an exposure medium for the justice seekers. We know that if you are going to social media right now, for example, Twitter, there are a lot of solidarity within the society. And maybe with this one-stop platform, it can be used as an integration for public to be help the justice seekers in one platform. In this.
Okay. I think that's enough for me because
Okay, we still have like 15 minutes. And then aku aman need more drink. Okay, since Dinda has already held her mic, and Dinda would like to ask Rian.
Thank you, the Marcia, as the moderator. Good morning, Rian.
Very well.
How does pronounce your name? Is it Rian or Ryan?
Again, again.
Rian. Okay, Rian. Um, First of all, congratulations for making it to the final
Thank
stage.
you.
How do you feel right now?
Thank you.
You're good. Okay, so I must admit that this is also another interesting topic to discuss, especially for your proposal, and I do appreciate that. And my first question is that the target or the audience of your proposal or the solution that you have been proposed will be applied in general, right? I mean, the society. I mean, your solution can be applied in society, right?
Yes.
In a broad way,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? And as a law student, I would like to ask how could you explain justice to the society? How can you give a brief understanding and easy to understand about the concept of justice within society?
All right, thank you both for the question. So maybe justice is really abstract, such as we can see there are many types of justice, for example, distribution, distributive, I think, and others. But the way I define justice is how to achieve it. So get the concept that proposed by John Rawls, which is to have justice, we need to have fair mechanism in the process, and yes, we need a procedure, we need a fair procedure. I think that's kind of a concept for it.
Okay, so was that how you will explain about the concept of justice to the society in
Yes,
general?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. And my second question will be related to the statement that you wrote in your abstract, which is you stated that the law only accommodates poor groups and not also towards marginalized groups and middle class groups, right? And my question is that why did you focus more on the marginalized and middle class group on your proposal?
Right, thinking about it. So the reason why I put this to is because based on my research, criticism towards legal aid now is it does not accommodate these two groups, this one group, the marginalized group. But I identify myself that middle class group is really important also because, like I said before, they are not really poor, but they also not have access to legal aid.
Okay, so do you have any other rationales regarding to that opinion?
I think that's it because regarding the marginalized groups and for example, middle class group, like I said before, there are many cases as and kids, and of course, they really need something like legal aid. And maybe they are middle class also, but they are also marginalized group. So it is intertwined, and they are really need legal aid, in my opinion.
Okay, so since previously you mentioned that they are intertwined within the society, right? And the thing that is intrigued myself more is that when you said that the law only accommodates the poor one and not the marginalized as well as the middle group one. However, I am a bit curious and a bit concerned about whether previously did you do some research on the satisfactions of the poor society of the poor groups in regards to how the law by now covers or accommodate their needs, especially in regards to the access of justice. Because my main question is that if the main concern of the law, especially when it would like to accommodate poor groups, is not that satisfactory, then why should we add another quote unquote a burden to add more um, accommodation for another group?
Right. Thank you for the question. So yeah, poor group is, like I said in my paper, it is accommodated by the law. It is legal aid law, and the reason why I put these two groups is because, like I mentioned before, it is this people group, this group is often affected by legal. But to note that you mentioned that uh, why we need to add these two groups, whether this product itself is not really, maybe it does not really get justice. I believe that legal aid itself as a norm is can be a medium for their for groups to get access to justice. So because of my focus in this program is to achieve or to optimize access to justice, therefore I add these two groups because the product itself is already accommodated with legal aid. Despite that, maybe poor groups in the practice that maybe get justice or something like that. Uh, but at the first place, they are have a medium or place to get access to the legal aid. Maybe that's my answer.
Okay, so my last question to wrap up or to conclude our Q&A session is that, so do you think that by broaden the scope or broaden the scope of the society, which it falls under the scope of your proposal, can genuinely optimize the access of justice within society?
All right, thank you, Ben. So, what is it going to be more wider to getting access to justice more going to be success? Well, I think not really explicitly in the sense that maybe with the broaden the target groups, I think there will be groups that are will going to have an access to justice. Before, because when there is not a problem like this, I think the government focuses only uh, towards the poor groups and not towards other groups that doesn't really need for pay to even pay attention.
Okay, so does that mean that the uh, quantity of the society that it falls under the scope of your proposal is the only indicators that can conclude whether the accommodation towards access of justice is being optimized, or is there any other um, indicator in this regard?
All right, thank you, but so yes, quantitative is one of my factors to burden market growth because we know that middle class growth is, I think the data shows that it is one of the higher groups that has a lot of people in it, and yes, I think it will be aligned with my purposes for this program, optimize access to justice because there are many people in Indonesia that actually are middle class and does not have or be accommodated by legal yet. I think that's my answer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dhea. We still have 7 minutes. The last questions from the stages.
Good morning, Rian.
Good morning.
Yeah. Presentation is about PMK. My first question. Hmm, I will go to Kita Bisa again.
All right.
Okay. In this, yeah, in this Kita Bisa, I see PMK website similar system with Kita Bisa, where everyone can fundraising in your website, right? So the problem is how you will control that the penggalang will use the, the dana, yeah, the what they get to seek justice, not abuse.
All right. Thank you, Ali, for the question. So to answer that, we need to see how this program works. First, uh, the first thing they are going to do by the seekers are going to sign up for their funding activities toward this platform. And there are many documents that need to be made, provided by our team. So from that, from the registration phase, my team will verify all the documents, whether the data or the document itself or the purposes of it is going to be uh, true. And after that, after the registration, there will be supervision critically by our team, so we can see whether the seekers really use their funds wisely. I think that's my answer. So there are supervisions in my team.
Okay. My next question is, you state in your proposal that PMK will collaborate with law firm to provide legal aid. So, why you think it will happen? Because I think when you come to law firm, they sell legal aid. They not give legal aid.
Thank you, Ali, for the question. So yeah, it is actually one of my backgrounds, one of my reasons why I bring this program, because legal aid, especially provided by lawyers, is not really been implementable in real life because many lawyers does not really often provide legal aid. So I think with this program, it can be a CSR program for the law firm itself or maybe other companies, so they can uh, they maximize their obligation to provide legal aid to the public. So within this platform, I think uh, maybe lawyers can get a team so they are not really maybe tired of doing pro bono cases. I think that's my answer.
Okay, thank you. Enough from me. Answer enough. Thank you, Rian.
Thank you.
We still have 4 more minutes. Is there any questions? No. Advice, feedbacks, inputs? No. All right. Closing statement? No. All right. Thank you, Rian, for your presentation. And give applause to Rian.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Now we're moving on to next text that switches. Melinda. Tisha, satu lagi.
Cek. Tes. Am I audible? Thanks. Halo? Oh, oke. Ke putih. Oke. Lebih ke ini kita. Ini? Yang tadi nggak kayak gini. Dari sini. Tes. Halo? Nggak kedengaran juga? Atau nggak di ini Mbak? Gitu. Oh, ini. Halo? Oke. Boleh tolong? Enggak, nggak bisa. Thank you, Mbak. Sebentar. Pulpen.
Yuk. Enggak bang, enggak ada suap-suapan kebetulan. PPT aku. Oh ini PPT aku. Ayo itu. Oke mbak aman.
Alright. Melinda, are you ready?
Yes.
Alright. Please introduce yourself, and you have 15 minutes to present your idea. And your presentation will be followed by question and answer sessions for 30 minutes. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Marsha. Good afternoon, all. Have we ever wondered here how much carbon emissions do we produce every single day? Right now, I want us to calculate how much carbon emissions can we produce in one single household. There are ping pong balls in my hand, and this pair of jar symbolizing the atmospheres, and the ping pong balls symbolizing the carbon emissions. Let's take a look at my house alone. This is my house. And basically, every single day, we have our air conditioning turned on every days and night. So there will be 2 air conditioners on the atmosphere. And then my brother and my father usually drive a car to their work, one for each. So there will be 2 carbon emissions on the atmosphere. And then my mom always cooks during lunch and then for dinner. So there goes the LPG energy for the emissions. And then myself, I'll usually charge my electronic devices every 2 hours or 3 hours for long. So there will be one more ping pong balls in the atmosphere. If we see here, the space in the atmosphere is filled up with the haze of carbon emissions every single day from the actions that my family and I take every day. Much like how the ping pong balls fill up the clear jar before. So, good afternoon. I'm Melinda, one of the finalists of the Outstanding Student at Faculty of Hukum University Indonesia 2024. Hereby, I present to you guys my idea, carbon cut, as the personal carbon emission reduction in Indonesia. The illustration of carbon footprint with ping pong balls in a jar is actually reflecting what is happening in our current world right now. Let's take a look at this data. One study indicates that household carbon emissions contribute to over 60% of greenhouse gas emissions. And on the other hand, private vehicles such as cars have accounted for more than 48% alone in this transportation sector. I'm sorry. And then if we shift our focus to Indonesia, in Jakarta, about 44% of carbon emissions is produced by motorcycles and cars. And one of the research that is held by University of Brawijaya found out that one neighborhood with around 700 households produce more than 500,000 tons carbon of emissions every month. In facing those issues, there are actually several efforts from the public officials and other community and private sectors initiatives. The first one, we can see that there is fiscal incentives for electric vehicles, but this initiative has not yet given any significant impact because the target of this policy is only for the upper middle class population. Next, we already have the eco-label products that is initiated by the private companies, but this also not have a significant impact because the eco-label products tend to be more expensive, and then the consumers will tend to choose more economical products. The third one is carbon trading. We have noticed that in many countries, this implementation has been successful, but unfortunately in Indonesia, the mechanism is only focuses on business to business transactions, and we as the personnel cannot yet be able to participate in the carbon market. From the multitude of carbon emissions issue, what is actually the root cause here? It is the individual and personal action. Research from the University of Dhea and the University of Technology of Sydney found that reducing carbon emissions in one household will result in a decrease of carbon emissions up to 80% cumulatively. My decisions to go to FHUI by using public transportation rather than a private car, my decisions to use the air conditioner wisely rather than using it all day, all of it impacting our national and global world. In the era of the fourth industrial revolution, technology is utilized in almost any field, including the environment. Take a look closer at what China has done. A Chinese company affiliated with Alibaba Group has created an initiative called the Ant Forest. And Forest records the carbon footprint of its users, and then from each low carbon action taken, the users can earn green energy points. This energy later can be converted by the users for reforestation projects there. And interestingly, one enforced users who chose to walk for 1 kilometer only can save about 140 grams of carbon emissions. But right now, Enforest has 350 million users who do the same thing every day. And China right now has managed to reduce its carbon emissions up to 2.83 million tons each year. Now imagine if we have this kind of application implemented in Indonesia. I present to you the Carbon Cup, a mobile app that integrates technology, gamification, and fintech with its primary goal to encourage personal behavior change and reducing their carbon footprint. I'm aware that people tend to hesitate to use applications because they are already having so much applications on their phone. But after this, I'm gonna show you how this app can realistically be implemented in Indonesia. Reflecting on behavioral reasoning theory, or a theory that wants to understand why consumers are willing or not willing to use some products. The reason users want to use Forest is because there is a gamification mode with that allows them to interact with other users. So we can see that there is a social influence in this app. Meanwhile, the reason why people do not want to use the application of Forest in China is because there is no direct personal benefits for them. They can only plant their trees and not getting any economical incentives. Based on the analysis, I propose the creation of the carbon cut in Indonesia. Its operation is very simple. The first one, carbon cut will record each low carbon actions that users take, such as walking, using the public transportation, and etc. Regarding how to record low carbon actions, you can refer to the table 3.1. And then next, for each low carbon actions, the users will gain the green coins, which are virtual coins derived from the accumulation of carbon emission reduction. Furthermore, I need more quantitative research regarding of this calculation. And then lastly, the green coins that have accumulated by the users can be exchanged for tree planting, and then they can also exchange it with the economical incentives such as shopping vouchers from certain eco-label products. Furthermore, of these incentives can be looked at the table 3.2. I understand that carbon cut is a big idea and some of you consider it impossible to be implemented, but I will show you the reasons why it is realistic innovation in Indonesia. I have already mapped the stakeholder that will be involved in the stakeholder mapping. My strategic move is to initially connect it and collaborating with the Enforest itself. With the system and the technology that it has, it is very realistic to implement such programs in Indonesia. And currently, right now at Forest, Alibaba is expanding its program to the Southeast Asia. And in 2019, the Philippines already developed a collaboration with an app called Gcash Forest. So that is why carbon cut is very realistic to be implemented in Indonesia. Other than Forest, carbon cut will also collaborate with other stakeholders, of course, the governments, as they will oversee the running of this program. And then the carbon cut will be the initial mock-up project for Indonesia personal carbon trading in the future. And then for the other parties that will connect it with the Forest to build the system and the technology, Forest will collaborate with Dana and then Lindungi Hutan. Lindungi Hutan will be involved in the development of carbon emission calculations by utilizing its carbon footprint calculator with the standard of Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change or IPCC calculation method. The third one, Carbon Cut will also collaborate with public transportation service providers such as PT KAI and PT MRT Jakarta, just in the purpose of the application accessibility, like the access by KAI, my MRT application, etc. Fourthly, we can also collaborate with the green partner company that will be our main investor through offering discounts for their eco-label products. Finally, the community, the individual itself, is the key for the success of this program. Next, there will be 4 steps and stages in establishing this application. First, in the planning app, we will do the market research, idea pitching for the stakeholders, and then we will also see for the sources of the funding from the investors. And then the second one, we will form the app, which will be done by by the MAPRES, the Bumi Hutan, and then Dana as the fintech. And then after that, at the implementation stage, we will take in 2027 as the kickoff program. And then the last step is the evaluation, which will be done monthly and annual. To overcome the large funding requirement, the main sources of the funding will come from the investors and also the crowdfunding scheme. The primary investor will be from the Alibaba Group as the biggest e-commerce in the world, and also from other green partner companies that will be affiliated with Carbon Cut. And lastly, we hope that the community will also fund these initiatives by the crowdfunding scheme, so that the concept of the crowdfunding scheme is a funding technique for projects or business Carbon Cut that involve the wider community, commonly known as collective funding raising. Okay, now let's count again. Yesterday, I pitched this idea to my family, and then I asked my father first whether or not he will go to work using public transportation. He said that no, I don't want to because it's not really beneficial for me, this idea. Okay, so this goes for my dad in the atmosphere alone. And then I asked my brother whether or not he wants to take the public transportation. He said that okay, maybe this will be game changing for us in Indonesia. Okay, so thanks to my brother for listening to my idea. And then there goes my mom also, uh, whether or not she wants to use eco-label products. And then she said, okay, maybe yes, with a cheaper and reasonable product. And then uh, from this only one house, we can see that there is a difference between the jar that I hold right now. This is the atmosphere before the change of behavior, and this is the atmosphere after the change of behavior. This is what will happen if Carbon Cut is implemented in Indonesia. Because every action that we take every day will impact the level of carbon emissions in the atmosphere. When all of us decide to take low carbon actions, imagine how much will the carbon be reduced in Indonesia. I'm Melinda, and I'm proud that I have delivered my idea about carbon cut, a simple yet significant idea to encourage everyone to take low carbon actions every single day. Thank you all for listening. I am open to any suggestions, criticisms, and inputs from the esteemed report. Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda, for your presentations. Now we are moving on to the question and answer sessions. Who would like to ask the questions first? Arif?
Thank you, Mbak Marsha. Hello, Melinda.
Hello,
Melinda Gates. Since I called you with Melinda Gates, can we move to your budget plan?
Sorry?
Budget plan
Budget plan. All
on
right.
your proposal.
Okay.
So it will be spend 640 million. How do you get that money?
Of course. First of all, the numbers that I get in my proposal is basically from my previous research from the informatical students at FHUI. and then this is just scratch numbers that I put there. But the thing is, what the funding system that I want to uh, do in this carbon cut schemes is that by collaborating with so many parties, especially because this initiative, many initiative is to collaborate with the main stakeholder, which is the Alibaba Group. We can know that the Alibaba Group is the biggest e-commerce in the world, and then they are currently expanding the Ant Forest program to the Southeast Asia, and from what I've researched in the implementation in the Philippines, the Gcash Forest is mainly funded by the Alibaba Group because it is one of the CSR program held by the Alibaba Group. So that is why from the funding schemes that I want to pursue is by collaborating with them as we can benefit from their funding. That's the first one. But other than that, I can also want to collaborate with other green partner companies and other private companies. Uh, they can give their investment by the fund itself, or maybe the offering of the products that will be exchanged by the green coins that the users will get later. And then the last one is the crowdfunding scheme, so that the community, the people in Indonesia can together, all in all, to fund this carbon cut, so they can make this application like it's theirs to have. It's not our my own initiative, but it's them. It's theirs. I'm sorry. That's it.
Okay. Speak about Alibaba. In Indonesia, we have kind of anti-China
Yep.
company movement. How to respond to that?
Okay. Thank you for the questions. Actually, the Alibaba itself is different from the Ant Forest initiative. Alibaba is the e-commerce that initially projected the Ant Forest, and the Ant Forest now is basically conducted and controlled by the other company affiliated with Alibaba, which is the Ant Financial Group, so that there will be no contrary things that will happen with the existing e-commerce company, because the end forest initiatives, vision and missions and programs are basically different from the e-commerce. And then that is why I also put as one of the collaborator here, because right now Dana is affiliated with the Alibaba Group based on its shares right now. So that is why there will be no contrary to any e-commerce existing e-commerce company in Indonesia right now.
Yeah, because you need to convince that there is a good initiative, good faith from something that linked to Alibaba
Yeah.
to support sustainability environment. So, can we see your house
Oh, okay.
back again?
Actually, I got this from the Google Earth just this morning.
Yeah, where is the tree? I didn't know. If there is,
Thank you for asking.
yeah, because my parents say that human rights comes from homes,
Okay.
and the protection of the environmental comes from homes. That's why. Yeah. The plan, the Dafa plan.
The last brother.
So, Melinda,
Yes.
from your house,
All right.
from your self-regulation, as your colleague mentioned before, and then the last thing I need to ask you, what is? Do you think that the government, Indonesia government policy to increase the price of the electricity, the
Okay.
fuels, and other things, it will be to support your proposal
Okay.
because you cannot work alone and work alone. Yeah, because we believe that ada kamu in there. So Melinda, you are ada kamu. So do you think that the government took their part and we as a community, as the part of the stakeholders, could also took our part for the action, real action?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Yes, all of the government policy regarding the environmental sectors will definitely give an impact for this initiative, such as rising the price of fuels or any um, not clean energy. Yes, of course. But and this carbon cut initiatives will also uh, in line with the, the governmental policies because uh, when they have uh, higher products they will need to buy, we give an economical incentives. So in the sense that it will be comprehend with the governmental policy, of course, and that is why we are not only offering the reforestation project for Indonesia, but also gives direct economical benefits that can be exchanged from the green coins that has been converted by the users. Thank you. Thank you, Mbak Natalina. Okay, about but this is mine right now. Okay.
Okay. So we can still have 23 minutes. Which,
Sebentar aja nggak apa-apa.
Okay, so I guess it's a Q&A session and not a negotiation process, right?
Alright.
Okay, so good morning, Melinda. Nice to see you. How are you feeling right now?
I'm good and everyone's at the same.
Yeah, that's normal. Okay, and my first question will be about could you please elaborate and explain to us about the novelty of your proposal, especially the apps that you are proposing to the society?
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the questions. I will show you the feature that I have also proposed on my written proposals. Wait a minute. Okay. The novelty that I want to propose to the society is first, this first feature. It's called the main menu of my application, so that the users from daily life they have to look at their app and and then click and collect the points that are accumulated by the low carbon actions they already. And then the second feature is still from the stacks. So the users will have to be compete with other users in order to be in the first place, and then they can steal the other users' points by clicking at here, and then the third feature that I have invented that this is like my tree section. There will be so many levels from the use for the users for the amount of trees that have planted. By more trees that have planted, there they will gain a higher level. So the gamification mode that I suggested in this application is aligns with the behavioral reasoning theory that I used in my research that shows that the end forest users tend to uh, use the application because of the gamification mode, because of the social interactions. That is why I want to do the same thing as the Anthorus to engage with the social other users. And then the next feature is track my trees. So when I decided to exchange my green coins to a tree. I can easily track the tree. Of course, Carbon Cut will be collaborating with the Google Earth or the Google Maps. And then the fifth feature is the convert the coins. This is the most uh, I think interesting part of this app because the users can gain direct and personal and economical benefits that the enforced before has not yet offered to their users right now. And then last one is for the daily report. Each users can track how much of the carbon emissions they have reduced for their low carbon actions decision. That's my answer.
Okay, thank you for your very well explanation regarding to the novelties and all of the features that you have in your application, in the proposed application. However, I do think that the main issue here is not all about how is the app gonna work, but the initial issue or the initial concern is that how can you persuade people to and society, that all of them or all of the society will be more aware to the same issue and to make the society that okay, all of us having the same issue, that we are on the same page in seeing that this is a problem within our environment. How can you persuade and convince people?
Okay.
Because I do think that despite the quality or the novelty or all of the features that will be provided by the application or the proposed solutions, if the subject or the society
Yes.
do not want to do that, do not want to do that, then I don't think it will be happened.
Okay.
So, what is your proposed solution? Because I think the change of the habit of the society is the main key over here. Do you have any solution for that?
Okay, thank you for the questions. But first of all, based on my research, actually there is an increasing of environmental realization and awareness in our society. Of course, uh, the one of my previous funding, it said that about 81.1% of our society has raising the environmental awareness, but the main issue is they do not really act on the environmental awareness that they have because there are a lack of infrastructure or other environment that will um, make their realization and awareness realistic. And then for that reason, for the environmental awareness that is raising in our society, I believe that this implementation of the Carbon Act will not as be difficult as we think that will be accepted by our society. And from what I've also wrote on my paper, uh, the acceptability part, especially from the SMART method, I have wrote and analyzed it by the analysis behavior reasoning theory that I have mentioned before. Based on this theory, there are at least two components that we can analyze together: the reasons for using something and reasons against using something. And from my previous research, from my study, comparative study with the forest, the reason against using certain products is there is not there is not direct benefit from the users. So by uh, creating this feature, the comfort points, the direct financial benefits that the user will get will effectively rising the acceptability rate of this carbon act in our society in Indonesia. And I think that's my answer because of the environmental awareness it's raising, and then the second one because of the um, economical incentive that they can have. And considering right now in Indonesia, we are a consumers, big consumers, one of the big consumers in the world. And because of that, because the economic incentives for them, I believe that carbon cut is not only accepted but also sustainably uh, used by our society in Indonesia. Thank
Okay, thank you for your very well explanation regarding to my previous question. And at last, I would like to know your opinion about if you have to choose from rate 1 to 10,
you. All right.
in what scale do you believe that this will be um, easily performed, or it will be how high is the chance to be realized? Your
Uh,
solution.
I believe it's gonna be 10 because first one, I want to engage directly with the Forest so that we can have a secure funding system, and then the technology itself. We don't have to create from the scratch, but we can collaborate with the Forest. That's the first one, and then the second one. Right now, Indonesia is currently developing the personal carbon trading schemes for the carbon trading markets. But unfortunately, nowadays we only have the business to business transactions. And this will be an initial mock-up project for the enhancement and the development of on the personal carbon trading in Indonesia in the future, hopefully. So I believe that carbon cut is a 10 out of 10. Thank you.
Okay, so I assume that there will be no obstacles in regards to that because you rate 10 out of 10. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Melinda.
Thank you, Badinda, for your line of questioning. Oh, are you getting fired up now, or
My
you want more question?
no.
Can your leg still hold it?
No.
Angga, would you first question, please?
Um, okay, Melinda, good.
Good day, good day. Good day or tea or
This is
papalati?
this is this is 11:59, so I can't bingung ya. Okay, this is the thing, Melinda. I really like the idea. I appreciate the gamification. I believe it's something that is it's very good if it can be implemented, and also you kind of give rewards in doing carbon cutting. In a sense, you collect green coins, and green coins will have economic benefits. Maybe you can do it for a discount, or maybe you can do it. Maybe you can trade it for a real money. Okay, but in business, there always be a cost to gain something. In this sense, where the money come from in giving the economical benefits from the green coins. I mean, the green coins will value an amount of money.
Okay.
Where the money come from?
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Manga, for the questions. I think we can go back to the funding scheme that I have explained before. Actually, for the economical, for two parts. For the quick green coins itself, it's actually not can be valued as the similar value of rupiah or money, but yes, there will be some uh, money that will be needed in order to value the green coins that has to be converted into a plant the trees or any exchange of the carbon product sorry the products of the green partner companies. But the first one, I think from the Green Coins initiative, the money and the fund will go basically from the Alibaba Group, collaborating with the Amphorus and the Financial Technology Ninja, Dana, and for the money for the exchangeable products or coupons that want to be offered by the users is basically from the green partner company. We do not only gave them, but in exchange they will get a platform with the high buy rates because uh, the application will be used by the users which uh, mainly already has an environmental awareness with them, so the carbon cut will be a new public market for the green partner company. But to answer your questions, where this money will come from, of course, from the investment itself that the green partner company gives to the carbon.
Okay, what kind of investment?
All right, there will be two investment that the green partner company will be giving. The first one is the fund money, the form of money, rupiahs or any other. And then the second one is the form of the free coupons or the free products that can be exchanged by the green coins itself.
Okay, so basically you are putting the burden, the cost, to the green partner, as maybe because their commitment to green economy, they are giving a few discounts to the green coins at this time. And then the second is they want to like maybe give up some money in order to reward people that have the same mission like that. In this sense, maybe I could give a recommendation. Yeah, a bit of advice. In this sense, the companies they have what we call CSR fund, right? So find something like that. I mean, CSR fund is one of the way, but you can find some channels in maybe putting money into this reward system. But those are the budgets that can be allocated in supporting your ideas. So maybe you can look for another channel or opportunities in giving fuel to these good ideas, brilliant ideas. Of course. Okay, I think that's all from me, Bang Alif. Maybe to Alif.
Thank you, Bang Angga, for your comment. I'd like to invite my Brother.
Thank you, Bang Alif. Yeah. Hello, Melinda. Yeah.
Hello, Alif.
It was a good presentation from you about carbon cut. Okay. My first question is how you will attract the people of Indonesia who not live in Jabodetabek to use this application.
Okay. Thank you for the questions. First of all, I know that the infrastructure supporting this initiative is a gap with other in other provinces rather than Jabodetabek. But actually, on my written proposals, I have written that my main focus of this program will be initiated in 10 kawasan metropolitas, which is established based on government regulations. The 10 kawasan prioritas are Medan, dan Banjarmasin, Semarang, and then Surabaya. And for your questions, will I engage with them? Is by pitching the ideas to the society and give the socializations that they will be needed, and also connecting with the environmental community there to socialize these carbon cut problems. I'm sorry, the carbon cut application, so that they will understand the cost benefit that they will gain from this application. Thank you.
Okay, good. It will be focused in 10 kawasan metropolitan,
Yes,
right?
for the initial project.
Oh, yeah. Okay. My following question is, you add gamification in this application, you do that. And psychology, the gamers will be addictive, a little bit addictive
Okay.
to play this game, uh, and want to be the winner.
All right.
Like Pohon Shopee, maybe.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. Everyone wants to be the winner. Will you add the feature of maybe leaderboard feature uh, of green coin?
Oh, okay. About the competitiveness, yes, of course. That is why I put a feature called "Steal from the Stacks," so that we can uh, uh, stacks which of of the users gain the most carbon reduced. The highest of the carbon emissions can be reduced and track from the carbon cut. They will get the first place. And I think your suggestions has been accommodated with my applications. But thank you for the inputs.
Okay, good. Uh, so in my opinion, I understand that carbon cut you in green coin you can fill stack and steal from
The
other.
coins, yep.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Back to 10 kawasan metropolitan.
Right.
How you will guarantee equal opportunity to the people who not live in Jakarta? Because in your stakeholder you add KAI and MRT
Okay.
who just in Jakarta for now.
Okay.
How you uh, let's say I'm from Medan, so I want to be the top of leaderboard in your application. I try walking, but I can use KAI and MRT.
Okay.
So how I can still be
Okay.
the number one?
Okay, thank you. I haven't explained it before, but the one thing that I missed from my presentations, we only can track others' points if we follow the users first. So the stacks will only be from the users that you have followed, such as your friends and etc. So there will be no stacks from different provinces if you do not follow your other friends first. So basically, if you are in Medan, you will connect with the people around you in also Medan, so that the stacks will only be accumulated from the user's friend that you have followed before. So there will be no nationals or other provinces scales in this future. But thank you for asking.
Okay, okay, good. Yeah, that's all from my question. Thank you, Melinda.
Thank
Back
you so
to
much,
Bang Alif.
Alif.
Thank you, Alif, for your questions and comments. Chemistry going on between you both. There is still 5 minutes left for question and comments. Are you ready for comments?
I think that's it.
Okay. Oh, waiting for the implementation. Okay,
Okay.
then thank you, Melinda, for your presentation.
Thank you, Bang Alif.
Let's give a round of applause for
Thank
Melinda.
you, judges.
Okay. Okay, now I would like to invite Tisha. Yes, Tisha to present um, your project. Apparently.
Terus. Oke, di atas.
Okay, Trisha, are you ready? You will have
Yes.
15 minutes to present your idea
Oh,
and
yeah.
30 minutes for question. If you're ready, I will start the time now.
Honorable judges, fellow competitors, my name is Tisha Cornelia David. As one of the finalists for Mahasiswa Berprestasi 2024 Fakultas Hukum Universitas Indonesia, today I will be presenting my initiative. Today, I'm sharing the concern of 21.6% of the Indonesian population, a sector of our shared nation whose growth and potential is stunted by malnutrition. Child stunting, a crisis with profound implications, which, despite its prima facie direct and clear cause, has been an unsolved mystery for all of 79 years Indonesia has stood. In the next few moments, we will delve into the complex web of factors contributing to child stunting, explore its detrimental impacts on individuals and communities, and most importantly, illuminate the pathways towards meaningful intervention and lasting change. Now, an executive summary on what we're going to be talking about today. Honorable judges, stunting still poses a threat to Indonesia's human resource. Indeed, Indonesia is ranked 27th globally and 5th in Southeast Asia, with countries with the highest stunting rates. This is despite Indonesia's commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals to achieve zero hunger under Goal 2. A high-quality human resource is also desperately needed to support Indonesia's growth in the Industrial Revolution of 4.0. Now, current solutions focuses on short-term developments without addressing long-term needs. Solutions currently offered include the distribution of free food and medical services, but not targeting socioeconomic issues at the root of the stunting issue. Currently, the proposed initiative would consider the strong relations between certain economic issues and the occurrence of stunting in children, and propose to eliminate stunting by including this stunting issue in a wholesome socioeconomic empowerment framework. Next, currently, Indonesia's stunting prevalence exceeds international standards. International standards, such as that made by the World Health Organization, otherwise referred to as the WHO, determines that national stunting rates must be below 20%. Currently, Indonesia's stunting prevalence is at 21.6%. Although this number is not too far off from that of the international standard, this rate is far from consistent in Indonesia's provinces. For example, in Nusa Tenggara Timur, the highest stunting rates nationally includes 35.4% of the population. This grim reality is found in 26 of 38 of Indonesian provinces with stunting rates higher than 20%. While, of course, the Indonesian government has not stayed put regarding this issue, They have implemented several measures such as pemberian makanan tambahan and program Aksi Bergizi distributing free healthcare and food aid to its people in need. Now, I'm pretty sure following the recent presidential election, a lot of us are familiar or well acquainted with these types of programs, as well as its corresponding critiques. Indeed, these types of solutions have not addressed relevant education of healthcare and nutritional needs for children and mothers, boosting the availability and affordability of food sources, and the continual economic mobilization in underdeveloped areas. Now, circling back shortly on the number of stunting rates in Indonesia, currently Indonesia is at 21.6%. This number is similar to that of Thailand's at 24.6%. The only problem being this was Thailand's stunting rates at the 1980s. Honorable judges, this really gives us a reflection of how dire the situation is in Indonesia. So let's take Thailand, for example. Based on a study conducted by the World Health Organization, malnutrition in Thailand has dropped as early as 2016 to just 10.5%. Now, the question might be, how did Thailand do this? Well, Thailand did this by recognizing in the early 90s that malnutrition and stunting is not just a health problem. It is, in fact, merely symptoms of other socioeconomic issues. That was why Thailand changed the course of its measures. Thailand implemented measures such as promoting income generating activities, especially in underdeveloped and rural areas, utilizing community efforts and raising awareness relating to healthcare and nutrition, specifically by the education of women, and thereby improving stunting numbers through investing in the social welfare for the future. Currently, these types of measures may be implemented in Indonesia. That is why there are three measures of growth targeted currently by this initiative. First is mothers' awareness of receiving health services and children's nutritional needs. Second is affordable food sources. Third is providing women with decent jobs and additional financial income. Now, you might be questioning, why just women? Why not men and women? Well, in comparison to men, with almost 90% of employment rates, women only have around 50 to 60% of workforce employment rates. And 50% of that employment would be below the national minimum wage. That was why we chose to focus on providing women with decent jobs and additional financial income. Next, so the current initiative is called Women's Cooperative for the Future. Well, cooperative, based on Article 1 of UU Perkoperasian in Indonesia, is a business entity consisting of individuals or a cooperative legal entity by basing its activities on cooperative principles, as well as a people's economic movement based on the principle of kinship. Now, this prioritization on social welfare, on kinship, is unique to that of a cooperative. And this is not found in other types of businesses existing in Indonesia. That is why, for its community value and social value, we choose to conduct support and initiating women's cooperatives in rural and underdeveloped areas. Now, several of the benefits of a women's cooperative is it enables women to provide additional financial contribution for families with lower income. It also enhances women's social capital, providing them with a supportive community and educational opportunities, as well as providing them access to affordable food products and loans, while also supporting the local economic development. In relation to in relation to enhancing their social capital, a community provides women with a positive support system to support the further growth in awareness for healthcare and children's nutritional needs, similar to the approaches that of Thailand. Second, it also provides education for women through seminaries and training programs to provide revolving around healthcare and nutrition. Next, relating to the financial opportunity and food security potential, a cooperative is known to provide affordable food sources to its members. This sort of system may also be implemented in the current women's cooperative. Second, it also promotes decent jobs for women. As previously stated, women still are occupying jobs below minimum wage. Third, it's also an easy and safe access to loans, which may provide further potential for the financing of healthcare and also education, formal education for children. Now, our project will take this timeline. The first 2 months will be conducted in the format of training for cooperative members, prospective members, and also current members of women's cooperatives. Also, establishing the cooperatives. Next, the cooperatives will operate for a total of 12 months in which they will be observed, and at the end of those 12 months, they will receive an evaluation regarding the use of their local economic potentials, also in their business activities, and the effectivity of this program towards lowering stunting rates in Indonesia. Next, in the second part, in the second half of these 2 months, they will be implementing recommendations made at the end of the first operational period. Several things that I would like to highlight regarding this women's cooperative strategy is first the entrepreneurship training. This training consists of a counseling for existing administrators and members and prospective members, as well as administrators, that will be established later on. This might be done in partnership with, for example, Dinas Perkoperasian, as well as other private parties. Next is health and nutritional training. This will be a seminar for cooperative members regarding good nutritional composition for children and the importance of getting healthcare services. Now, I understand one question might be, don't all mothers already know that their children have some kind of specific nutritional needs? Well, a study conducted in Jember showed that although mothers understand in concept that there are certain nutritional needs that their children need, they lack the training and the understanding for what kind of menu composition will fulfill those nutritional needs. That is why a personal approach such as this training would suffice for that objective. Next is operations and the performance evaluation. So as I mentioned, the cooperative operation will be done in the span of 2 years. First, we have the first operational period. In this period, the business activities will be conducted for a total of 12 months, after which they will be receiving an evaluation. And in the second part of this operation, they will be implementing the recommendations provided during the evaluation process to improve their operation. Next, our focus area. So I understand that tackling stunting rates in the whole of Indonesia might seem gargantuan. So to tackle this issue, we are focusing this strategy for 3 of the highest stunting rates in Indonesia. That is Sulawesi Barat, Nusa Tenggara Timur, and Aceh, with the respective numbers of stunting prevalence of 35%, 35.3%, and 31%. Of course, subsequent to the success of lowering stunting rates in these areas through the women's cooperative, we might consider expanding our program, also with prioritizing provinces with the highest stunting prevalence. Next will be our funding and partnership scheme. Currently, our primary partnership options are Palang Merah Indonesia, other non-governmental organizations such as the Tanoto Foundation, who has conducted similar partnerships before with the Indonesian government in Jawa Barat in 2018, also Dinas Perkoperasian and local Puskesmas and RSUD. There are also secondary financing opportunities such as financial sponsorship. Probably the appeal here would be companies who are looking to conduct a CSR program might collaborate with us, also considering the type of business they are in, as well as the location of their business. Next, we also have crowdfunding efforts through platforms such as GoFundMe or Kita Bisa. So the SMART analysis. I believe that this women's cooperative program is a SMART program. It's specific. It primarily targets SDG goals 2, 8, and 1. 2 being zero hunger, 8 being decent work and economic growth, and 1 being no poverty. These aims is consistent with the concept that stunting may not be eliminated just by focusing on malnutrition, but it must be a wholesome effort by addressing the socioeconomic difficulties causing stunting rates. Measurable means this initiative will focus on 3 provinces with the highest stunting rates. Acceptable means this initiative answers socioeconomic needs and the urgency of stunting rates in children. Let's also not forget that cooperatives is something that's traditionally found in Indonesian communities, therefore making it acceptable. Realistic means this initiative recycles and harmonizes traditional ideas and conventional infrastructure with new objectives. I would also like to highlight that women's cooperatives does exist in Indonesia, although in lower rates in comparison to general cooperatives or cooperatives of other sectors. This project is also time-bound as this initiative is expected to operate at its ideal rate in approximately 2 years. That concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Trisha, for your presentation. I'd like to invite members of the judges to give comments or ask question or give and ask. Can give or give and. Mbak Nat, please. Thank you.
Lisa,
Yes.
did you choose on 14 February?
I believe I should
Secret.
not
That's
be
a
disclosing.
secret. Yeah, never mention. Is that a pro or cons with the stunting movement, anti-stunting movement? It should be luber ya, langsung bebas umum rahasia. So never mention paslon you've been choosing. All right. Do you know for principle of protection of children from CRC?
I am not familiar, I should say.
Ha, I know that. That's why I'm asking. One of the principle is about survival and development that will be related to your proposal. Teresa, when you talk about how to empower ibu-ibu to support your family, especially to minimize the potential of stunting within the children, you need to know that it's the part of how the children will survive and will develop. Do you think that from your budget plan, because we also talk about the money in here, as Mr. Grab said that I smell the money. Aku mencium bau uang. From your budget, you have 2 items on consumption. Yeah, it's a bit contradictory while you trying to uh, tackle the problem of stunting in Indonesia. In the same time, you also give a budget, not really a small budget, for your team to feeding up yourself. Is that a bit selfish in a way? Please answer.
Okay, thank you for the very interesting question. Um, no, I don't think it's selfish to provide consumption. Indeed, if we look to our left and to our right, we're also being provided consumption today.
But we don't talk about something here.
Correct. My point is, our goal is not it's not to level out the playing field by decreasing what may be given to people in other situations. But the fact that we are providing consumption, I believe, is loyal to our goal, that is to provide adequate consumption also to children. So not only are we advocating for consumption generally in events, providing consumption for our guests, our members,
We believe that the same access shall also be held by children in rural and underdeveloped areas. And that's true. That's true to the objective of that event. That's to support the growth of family economics in rural areas to lower stunting rates.
And my following one will be, how if the women, the ibu-ibu that join Koperasi Wanita want to divert the possibility to have to gain money to give their children food, the proper one. They want to divert the money into loan to buy anything else. For example, they want to develop homemade food to sell to other neighbor or related to that. Is that possible for you guys to give a lenient loan for them?
The answer is yes. That is a possible way for us to operate our women's cooperative. And maybe one concern behind it is, would that divert the attention from, having this fund being used for lowering stunting and malnutrition in children? I don't believe that to be so, because the way that our women's cooperative work is, not only does it provide education and also affordable food to its member of these women's cooperatives, it also supports the growth of local economies. So providing loans is actually a good way, a safe and easy accessible loan is a safe way to provide these women and also other people in such community with business opportunities, therefore providing a long-term solution to the socio-economic concerns leading to stunting.
So, Lisa, do you think that nutrition, people from nutritional science background, will be involved in your proposal? Give them to support something. It's not just give them tiki or or bonbon candy like that, but also to give them proper nutrition for the development of the children.
So that's a very great question. I think that although currently we do not have concrete plans of involving people with strictly nutritional backgrounds in our plan, we are planning to collaborate, for example, with Palmera Indonesia, with a healthcare background, as well as local puskesmas, as well as RFUD, to provide the women or mothers, in this case, with a education relating to healthcare and the fulfillment of children's nutrition.
And one stakeholders that you need to consider is Posyandu. Yeah, so they very have a concern on that. Thank you.
Thank you for the input.
Thank you, Mbak Natalina, for your comment. Now I'd like to invite the others. Mbak Dinda? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, Tisha. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling okay.
Okay, just okay. Okay, so my first question will be about your solutions. Could you please go back to your previous slide? Previous one in regards to the solution. This one. Yeah, the next one. Yeah. Okay. Uh, so you said that there are three areas of growth targeted in this issue, right? And one of them is that about the mother's awareness of receiving health services and children with nutritional needs. And another one is providing women with decent jobs and additional financial income. So do you think uh, who's gonna be responsible? Because I do see that these two solutions for the targeted area is a different one. In which, when we talk about the mother's awareness, will be about how should we provide a more massive education of mother, of women in society. However, when we talk about providing women with decent jobs, then we're not talking about the women as a mother itself, but we also talk about how should the government or the company or another uh, job opportunities for women provided in the society. So, do you have any opinion about that?
Right. So I think that is a very interesting question relating to the concern that isn't a mother's awareness of healthcare and also child rearing basically is opposite towards women working in the workforce. Well, the exact reason why I chose a cooperative as a business form is because a cooperative marries these two together. A study conducted previously stated that a women working in cooperatives is not actually taken from their more traditional roles as commonly found in Indonesia, that is child rearing and also providing for their families in a more technical sense. This is due to the nature of the work in cooperatives, especially local cooperatives, where the business side of the cooperative is going to be a team effort involving a lot of community members. And the fact that women will not be taken out of their local communities when conducting these tasks. That is why women involved in women cooperatives are still able to perform their traditional role as mothers in the family.
Okay. However, um, could you please elaborate more a genuine example on how can we prepare society, especially women, to be more aware about the health issue, about the health surface? Because as you know that this may be relevant to the number of uh, children. We say that we can also say that in several rural areas, it is very normal for young children to get married and to have child. And I do think that there is also another issue that is related to the stunting issue as well. Because as you know that to be a mother, it's another issue. It's a whole another issue. And especially when you will combining this with the capability of a mom to be working mom, it's gonna be a whole challenging issue for women in society. So do you have an opinion about that?
That's a very interesting question, Melinda. Thank you. Um, Indeed, I think although that's not currently the main target of our program, but that is also a part of the long-term development of socioeconomic condition in Indonesia's underdeveloped areas. And currently, one of the reasons that we are providing loans is perhaps for mothers to invest in their children's education. One of the reasons why children drop out from schools and get married young is because of the lack of job opportunities as well as opportunities for higher education. And in this case, we believe that by providing loans, we might also provide a solution for that, although not holistically or in a more targeted way. Um, does that answer your concern, Melinda? Do you have questions?
Yeah, actually, I have a follow-up question. And this the next one will be relevant to the providing women with decent jobs, because I do think that having a child is also a decision of both parties in the family. Like having a child is not only the decision of the woman but also the man, who is the husband. So, do you think that providing a man with a decent job as well will be a great idea? To what extent do you agree with this issue?
I definitely agree that providing men with decent jobs is a great way to alleviate a family's socioeconomic conditions. However, as I've also mentioned, currently the focus is on women because more traditionally in Indonesia, child rearing activities is carried out by women. And due to these issues, women also, a lot of them, choose not to participate anymore in the workforce because of their child rearing duties. And not to say that women are the only bearers of solution for this issue, but I do believe that there is a potential in providing women access to decent jobs because women are already working as of currently, but with jobs below the minimum wage. So by providing women decent jobs, we will be strategically enhancing the social economic condition of families.
Okay, thank you. And my last question will be regarding to the data that you provided. Could you please revert to the previous slide? Yes, this one. Um, may I know what is your main rationales and reason why did you choose more
All
as
right,
a
so
comparison?
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question. So there's actually numerous reasons why I chose Thailand for this example, because I want to show that the reason why Indonesia's stunting rates is so high is not just because our general condition or our general economic conditions. Indonesia has the ability to promote lower stunting rates for its children and also healthcare and nutritional needs for its mothers. The reason being, if we looked at Thailand at the 80s, they had similar stunting rates to us now. The problem is we are still struggling with this issue after 79 years. Now, I want to compare the two countries in their approach and also what kinds of measures has been implemented in these two countries. What has been different? Well, based on a study by the World Bank regarding success stories with reducing stunting, they involved four countries, that is Thailand, Peru, Venezuela, and Brazil. In all of these countries, the stunting rates was managed at the end not because the governments focused on malnutrition itself, but because it included malnutrition as a bigger part of a socio-economic framework that still has the main object of reducing stunting rates in its countries, as they were starting to realize how important human resource development is for the growth of their country. Now, currently, Indonesia is entering a globalization period of 4.0, and I do believe that these types of approaches, which has been proven successful before, is useful if we do implement them in Indonesia also.
Okay, so in short, do you think that what has been implemented in Thailand shall be also be applied within Indonesia society?
Right. So the with the tricky part with that question is that Thailand implemented these measures as measures implemented in Thailand was part of its governmental measures.
Yeah.
Currently, we do not have such resources, obviously. As a private party, I do believe that we should focus more on enhancing self-independence in rural areas and underdeveloped economies. That is through the women's cooperative. This way, we can implement similar measures of similar effects, but with less funds.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Badinda, for your questions and comments. Ali, you want Angga? Then Ali first.
Thank you, Bang Alif. Halo, Tisha. Uh, about koperasi wanita. Okay. My first question, you mentioned in your presentation that three province become main target: Nusa Tenggara Timur, Sulawesi Selatan, and Aceh. Question: have you ever visit the province before?
No, I have not visited all of these provinces before.
Okay. So how you will know that this COP1, your COP1 idea, uh, set by the woman from the province?
So I guess my answer to that is because our project focuses on supporting the establishment and the initiation of women's cooperatives in these areas. We do this through education and training, as well as later on observation and evaluation for their businesses. Regarding the fact that I've never visited these areas, well, personally, I'm not too concerned regarding the fact that I've never visited these areas because at the end of the day, these women's cooperative aims to provide a facilitation for these women to grow a cooperative based on their own local economies. What this means is they will harmonize the use of their local resources, whatever kind of agriculture, business, trade is happening in their area. They will harmonize it in the form of this cooperative to use it for their economic development.
Okay, good. My following question, you mentioned about education and training. We will do that with COP1. So, just that in COP1 or other agenda? Because I see in your proposal, specifically in rencana kerja, you just put operasi COP1 and just evaluation. What actually happened and what you do in operasi?
Okay, so during the operations period, we will leave the cooperatives to operate their business like usual. And of course, throughout these operations of in 12 months, we will also incorporate training programs such as health and nutrition training. One of the vocal parts of this women's cooperative is also having women united in one community. This makes it easier for us to gather women for trainings such as health and nutritional trainings, as well as providing women with communities to support them in executing these ideas. Well, after 1 year of operations, we will be providing external human resource to observe and also evaluate their business operations for a year. We do this because we acknowledge that maybe some of these women and members of the cooperatives are not well acquainted with cooperative businesses or entrepreneurship in general. That is why we want to provide them with an external help, form of an evaluation at the end of the 12 months for them to implement in the next 12-month period.
Okay, thank you. My next question is, you mentioned a lot of times about education and training. It's a good thing to know about stunting for the woman, but if you just focus in for education and training, so what the basic difference between Hop One and the Arisan? Because I see in our society Arisan more existent, and the woman also just for Arisan. So what the attractive part to move to Hop One, not in Arisan?
Right. So I guess I understand the similarities between the community formed in an Arisan or a women's cooperative, but I think there are some key differences. That is, whereas in an Arisan, women will collect their money and distribute it on a monthly basis to one member, allocate it to one member, the next month to another member. That doesn't provide an actual potential for growth in capital or in socioeconomic developments. Well, in a cooperative, we aim for a growth in capital as well as members to further the goal of socioeconomic welfare. And also, although women do have a community where they do their arisan, in a women's cooperative, this community is focused on the positive growth of women and others. That is, we provide them with formal health and nutritional training, and in the course of executing these ideas, perhaps seeking medical attention, seeking additional information regarding how and where they can get this medical attention, or perhaps other things such as child-related activities, they can go to their women's cooperative community, get these sorts of support and information.
Okay, that's all from me. Thank you, Tisha. Back to Bang Alif.
Thank you, Alif. We still have 4 minutes.
Oh.
Anda.
Tisha, quick question nih. Wah, I'm very very sorry. Singlish, Singlish. So here's the thing. You said that you are creating a cooperative empowered by women, and then it's for tackling stunting issues, right? You uh, I see you have established in maybe creating the shells like the cooperative itself, but I want to ask about the how the business process will be. I mean, okay, socializations. It's getting the moms or women becoming knowledgeable. Okay, uh, but how do you provide the affordable foods and stuff? I mean, how's the business process will do? Because you are kind of focusing on the organizational level, but I've never heard about how this technically going to be. And that's, please explain it to me.
Very well, thank you for the question. Regarding the technical aspect of the business program, I would like to highlight three things. First is the fact that these women's cooperative will run on the basis of local economies. What that means is we will use local resources, see what kind of resources are available, and use that for their business potential. Second is these cooperatives, although they have the freedom of determining what kind of business they want to conduct. In Indonesian, this will be called Koperasi Serba Usaha (KSU). These cooperatives must still provide, for example, agricultural products such as food products. So to provide their members with affordable food resources. Third, they will also be providing loans. Menjadi koperasi simpan pinjam in Indonesia. They will be providing loans so women in underdeveloped areas will have an easy and safe access to loans to fund perhaps their healthcare or their education families. So I guess that's relating to what kinds of business sectors will be involved in this women's cooperative. Regarding the day-to-day activities of these businesses, we would like to let the women run these businesses with an external observation as well as an evaluation at the end of the 12-month period. Now, to ensure that these women understand the entrepreneurship part of this program, we will be conducting a training for an extensive 2 months while they will be taught in relation to how cooperatives work, the side of it, as well as recognizing potentials in their local economy. These are also key parts of the evaluation, which will be implemented in the operations.
Maybe a bit of suggestion, yeah. Trisha, have you do like an analysis in the subjects that you have in proposed these ideas? I mean, when we talk about Indonesia, Indonesia have Asian values where women have this domestic responsibility that is still quite strong. And in this sense, if you want to like burden back again the women to bear these ideas, I mean, to work as a cooperative and such, uh, I don't know. I mean, I believe that would be a very burdening for women, maybe because they have responsibilities at home, and maybe they have also some side hustle to do. And you can have this kind of problems or ideas that you want to like impose to them. So I think it would better to have consideration on burden analysis. I mean, you are focusing on women, but when we talk about stunting, it's not only women's problem, but also men as a whole. So education towards women not always guarantees things. Uh, Men also needs to be educated in this sense because it's not only the obligation or responsibility of women. Is there any time left, Miss Alex? 1 minute, yeah. Udah. Then okay. My question then, Scott, have you think about that before?
Yes, that was part of my consideration as to why just a women's only cooperative and not a general cooperative for men and women, enhancing their, economic value, social value for all of them. Well, I do really agree with you that in implementing these types of programs, we must still take into account the Asian values, traditional values that lives in our society. Well, in my opinion, these values do include businesses in the form of cooperatives. And one key thing about women cooperatives is it's one in a voluntary basis. So women who do not wish to participate in it do not have to participate. Whereas women who are already taking up jobs in um, working participants, they are already participating in the economy, but 50% of them, that's half of our women, are still working under wage incomes. So providing them with this opportunity actually alleviates their access to financial income. Third, I also believe that, also supported by a study conducted in previous in Jember, the fact that women cooperatives exist preserves women's roles in their families. This is because women will not be taken out of their communities. They will be working, in other words, close to home. And they will also not be working a strict hours like you would in a 9 to 5 jobs or other physically demanding jobs. So for women who are already participating in Indonesia's workforce, clearly a women's cooperative is a much better option with better pay and also better regulation.
Thank you, Bang Angga, for your question and Trisha for answering. You're not dodging any question, but Thomas dodging any question, right? Okay, I believe that's the presentation from Trisha. Let's give a round of applause for Trisha. And wow, I think that concludes all of the presentation. Yay, finally. Now we can let the judges to deliberate within themselves about who's who and what's what. And good, is there any announcement? Okay then. Thank you all for coming. For presentation this Monday. And we'll see you in the next stage of the selection. Thank you.